Okay, thanks, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order, the Sacramento City Council, today at 5:05 p.m., September 19, 2023. Madam Clerk, can you please call a roll to establish a quorum?
Thank you. Councilmember Kaplan. Here. Councilmember Laloe. Here. Councilmember Talamantes. Here. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Here.
Councilmember Maple.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Vang.
Here.
And Vice Mayor Guerra.
Here.
And for the record, the mayor will be absent this evening.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. We're going to try to do something a little different today. And normally we start our meeting off by a member of the City Council to do the land acknowledgement. But we would ask if our chairman of our only federally recognized tribe of Sacramento would be willing to read our land acknowledgement today. We'll post it up on the screen here before we do our Pledge of Allegiance. If Mr. Chairman, if that would be okay with you. Well, thank you. Chairman Tarango, do the honors. And folks, please rise.
I'm going to go to the mic. Please rise for the opening acknowledgments in honor of Sacramento's indigenous people and tribal lands. To the original people of this land, the Nisenan people, the Southern Maidu, Valley and Plains Miwok, Patwin Wintun peoples, and the people of Wilton Rancheria, Sacramento's only federally recognized tribe, may we acknowledge and honor the Native people who came before us and still walk beside us today on these ancestral lands by choosing to gather together today in the active practice of acknowledgement and appreciation for Sacramento's indigenous peoples, history, contributions, and lives. Tangi Como.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We're going to switch things up today on our special presentation. We have a handful of special presentations, and because we do have the chairman of one of our sovereign tribal nations here, it's totally appropriate that we begin our first presentation by Councilmember Katie Valenzuela.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, and thank you all for joining us here. Tonight I have the honor of presenting a resolution for California Native American Day. California Native American Day was established in 1998 and is celebrated on the fourth Friday of September, so it will be this coming Friday. This provides an opportunity for us to honor and acknowledge the diverse Native American tribes that have inhabited California since before time. California Native American Day also serves as a reminder for the historical injustices and challenges faced by Native American communities, including forced relocation, loss of land, and cultural suppression. For example, Wilton Rancheria was dissolved in 1959 by the federal government, but after years of struggle, the tribe regained federal recognition in 2009. So it is very fitting that we have our chairman here, Chairman Jesus Tarango, to accept tonight's resolution, because Wilton Rancheria's history and current day work really reflects the need for our continued effort to recognize Native American people and to continue to be very intentional about how we appreciate and honor the tribes among us today. So, Chairman, if you would please come and welcome, and thank you for allowing us to ask you to do the land acknowledgement on kind of spur of the moment.
Oh, no worries. Majuxis Tuka, Kaneo Yaset, Jesus Tarango, Tribal Chairman of Wilton Rancheria. And I just want to say Tangi Como to Vice Mayor Guerra and Councilmember Valenzuela and the City Council for welcoming me here tonight. On behalf of Wilton Rancheria, the only federally recognized tribe in Sacramento County, I would like to thank you for recognizing September 22nd, 2023 as the 56th Annual California Native American Day. In 1968, Governor Ronald Reagan first declared that the fourth Friday in September be known as California Native American Day, as a means to celebrate the culture and the contributions of the original caretakers of the land that we now call California. To put it mildly, this state has not always had a great relationship with its indigenous population. So this declaration was incredibly historic. Now, as we approach the 56th annual celebration, we must take time to honor the significant progress we have made since the holiday's inception. The theme this year for this year's event is protecting our people through sovereignty, past, present, and future. And it is not only the theme of a one-day event, but an important directive for all California tribes to continue to fight to protect our people. from bringing home our ancestors and giving them a proper resting place under the California Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, or CalNAGPRA, to combating the epidemic of murdered, missing, and indigenous people. We know we must continue to exercise our tribal sovereignty to best protect all Native people. Although much work remains to be done, this Friday is to truly call for a celebration. My staff has provided you all with a formal invitation to the event, and we hope that you will be able to join us on the west steps of the Capitol as we celebrate the historic day. Tangi Como for having me here today, and thank you for this important recognition for my people.
Thank you so much, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Council member, Mayor Pro Tem Mai Vang.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. First, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Councilwoman Valenzuela for bringing this forward. And also just want to thank you, Chair Jesus Tarango, just for all that you do for our region and everything that you're doing to fight for your people. I also want to take this moment to say thank you for your feedback and insight when we created the land acknowledgement. It was through your feedback, and so I really want to say thank you and just thank you for everything that you've done for the Racial Equity Committee. I mean, we were able to do the land acknowledgement because of your feedback and your advocacy on that. So I want to say thank you for that. And yeah, I think this is really important. It's a really important day to recognize. And I just want to also just center Councilwoman Valenzuela as the only Native woman on this council. You know, she's fighting every single day for all people. But I also want to acknowledge her as well as we're recognizing this very important day, and want to thank her for her service. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilmember Vang. Chairman, thank you so much for your service. You know, we appreciate your contributions to how we look at conducting ourselves as well. I also could not be remiss if I didn't thank you and your family for your years of service to the community, both in higher education, both your mother, who is a longtime scholar and has helped, you know, bring this to the forefront, and your father, who, like many of myself, were part of EOP, were able to have an opportunity to go to college because of that work. So again, I want to, again, personally thank you and your family and your work that you've done here as well again. And with that, council member, would you like to go down and take a photo with, and we'll bring the council here. Chairman, if that's okay, would you join us for a quick photo here?
Absolutely.
Thank you. The clerk will open the space here. Let's give a big round of applause for California Native American Heritage Day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
And for those that haven't participated at for the California Native American Heritage Day, it's a wonderful day throughout recognizing all of California. Many people travel there to share their experiences, and there's still much learning to do here. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to our next item again here, the recognition of National Hispanic Heritage Month. And we celebrate here, we always have a resolution recognizing Latino Heritage Month here in Sacramento. I get to do this one and begin this off. Many folks don't know that the Latino Heritage Month in Sacramento, we do a month here, but it originally started, you know, by President Nixon by recognizing Hispanic Heritage Day, and one day, and then after that, it was also many folks like the Latin American United Citizens who had fought in wars and had come back to the states and found out that they weren't being treated equally, wanting to recognize those efforts. And since that time frame, the Latin American Heritage Month starts on September 15th. It goes through October 15th because it's more than just recognizing the history or the independence of Mexico, which is a big part of Sacramento, California, but recognizing all of the different Latin American countries that have Independence Days. And for those why this is important, because when the Americas began independence from the monarchy, it was the first step away from slavery, and it was abolition. And it was an opportunity to give right to the indigenous people who were in their lands. And so Latin American Heritage Month stems from September 15th and October 15th. And we get to give a little flavor of every different time here today. So I'd like to bring up here a local group that has brought a lot of sabor y salsa to our Sacramento and brought a taste of the different cultures out to the front. Please, let's recognize Dancing on the Edge here, and give a big round of applause to Dancing on the Edge here.
Doug, can you please start the music?
¿Me llamaste? Estoy enamorado de una bendita morena. Estoy enamorado, ay Dios, de una bendita morena. Estoy casi loco, estoy desacatado, bebiendo por ella. Estoy casi loco, estoy desacatado, bebiendo por ella. Ya la mandé a buscar, sírvame otra botella. Ya la mandé a buscar, ay Dios, sírvame otra botella. Desde aquí no me voy hasta que llegue ella. Desde aquí no me voy hasta que llegue ella. Si la ven por ahí en brazos de otro hombre, si la ven por ahí, ay Dios, en brazos de otro hombre, a mí que me importa, eso da pato, ay eso no se rompe. A mí que me importa, eso da pato, ay eso no se rompe. Eso da pato, eso no se rompe. Eso da pato, eso no se rompe. Mira el play. No le mente a eso, hombre. Eso da pato. Pega lo tuyo también. Te siento débil. Marino, hombre. Si te pegan los cuernos, que siga la rumba. Si te pegan los cuernos, ay Dios, que siga la rumba. Que eso pasa igual que la caja de dientes. Ya lo primero molesta, pero con el tiempo uno se acostumbra. Ya lo primero molesta, pero con el tiempo uno se acostumbra. Eso hay que decir, como digo yo. Eso hay que decir, ay Dios, como digo yo. Ay, eso no se rompe, eso da patón. 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 ¿Qué sabe? Marino, hombre.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. So thank you all. And Jesse, if you don't mind saying a few words here, and before I pass it over to my colleague, Councilmember Telemantes, but Jesse, if you don't mind, a few comments here. One, Dancing on the Edge, I think, was started by trying to expose folks of different cultures to participate and understand music and dance throughout the Latin Americas. But any short, un breve comentos.
Yeah, so hello, Jesse Rodriguez, Dance on the Edge. Thank you so much for having us here and allowing us to just showcase a little bit of what we do. Just to be clear, we are not exactly a performing group. What we are is a community of dancers who love Latin culture and really want to express and share that with the community. And so what we do is we actually put on public events around the city. The main one that most people know is the one in Old Sacramento. So essentially every other Saturday over the summer, we're in Old Sacramento doing our events. But it's really a way to just bring people out into one piece of the city. One, we're showcasing our beautiful city, but we're also showcasing the culture by highlighting salsa music, bachata music, merengue, cumbia, really all kinds. And it's just an expression of the culture. And as you can see, it's a way to allow other folks of different cultures to also experience it and love it. I mean, our performers, quote unquote, today are from different backgrounds, and it's just something that is beautiful that I think we love really just sharing. But I'll close with just a thank you again to City Council, and much appreciated to allow us to be here.
Gracias. Por un fuerte aplauso. We'll get a group photo here in 1 minute, but let me pass this over because the culture is so rich, and one small segment doesn't do it justice. So let me pass it over to Councilmember Telemantes.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm honored to present this resolution with you and our mayor, who couldn't be here, but was really excited and heard about the exciting performance that we had lined up. So I'm sure he's going to have to come back and rewatch it. But Dancing on the Edge, that was incredible. Jesse, kudos. I know you said you should join us, and I said, oh, no way. I have 2 left feet, and I will not go up there. But I really do admire you and all the dancers for sharing our culture. Sharing your talent and really promoting it in the community. I know all your events have been so successful, bringing people from all over the Sacramento region, lighting up Old Sac, lighting up our waterfront, and you do so much. And so I do want to just honor you as a group for what you do on your volunteer time to uplift our culture. And that's one of the things that, makes Sacramento beautiful. It's the diversity that we have in our city. It's the languages that are spoken. It's the culture that we as a council get to celebrate throughout the year as we sit on these dais, recognizing these resolutions. And in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, I'm proud to extend my appreciation to the vibrant Hispanic community in the city of Sacramento and District 3, and also with our Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, who shared our economic impact report. Thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for joining us today. And I'd also like to thank Jessie Flores, the owner of Mi Tiendita, where she sells handcrafted items from Peru. And to Jessie and everyone else, thank you for bringing our culture to Sacramento. And
Welcome, Jessie.
Over to Jessie.
Arriba, Peru.
Thank you. Yes, arriba, Peru. Mis lentes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here and share my story. My name is Jessie Flores, and I am from Peru. I've been living in this country and in Sacramento for the past 22 years. I'm a single mother of 4 beautiful daughters. I come from a little town of Andean zone of Peru. At the age of 11, we moved to Lima, the capital for a higher education. Even though I have a bachelor's degree in accounting and I had to start from the scratch since my degree is not valid here. Thankfully, I have an entrepreneurial spirit that I got from my mom, so I started some businesses to making a living: housekeeping, linen rental and decor, cosmetic distributor, to name a few. During a really hard time in my life, when I was doing many things to survive, a good friend told me about the promotora position at the Hispanic Chamber. He and my kids encouraged me to apply, even though I felt that I couldn't do it due to my language barrier. However, I did it, and here I am today since October 2020. During this job, I've gotten to meet many business owners, hear their struggle stories, frustrations, and limitations. I noticed I was giving advice, encouragement, and recommendation to the business owners, and they were taking it, and it was helping them. So I thought to myself, if I'm good at giving advice, why I don't apply this to my own dream? Therefore, I decided to continue saving money and taking business classes. By December 2022, after thinking, saving, studying, and researching, I finally decide on what type of business to have with a higher chance of being successful and what's within my reach. We decided that we were going to offer Peruvian handicrafts and products to the greater Sacramento area. I love my country, my culture, my food, my music, and my people, that I want to bring our culture to everyone's homes, knowing that by purchasing the art from various crafters and artisans in Peru, I'm helping my country and their families, which makes me very happy. On the other hand, I'm helping the U.S. by paying business taxes and creating more jobs. This achievement is a compound effort of my kids and I. I want to thank the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for the opportunity they gave to work, which then opened my mind and opportunities to be here today as the CEO of my Tiendita Munaicha. You can find us at 1115 Front Street, Suite 4 in Old Sacramento, inside the Cracker Building across the street from Ferris wheel. I want to finish saying everybody has a dream, but sometimes we don't discover it and it dies with us. We need to look within ourselves, listen to that inner voice and go after it. Finally, I would like to say, if you have an idea and you don't know where to start and how to start with what you have and where you are, and everything else will fall into place, little by little. Thank you.
Gracias. Gracias, Jessy. Aspiring entrepreneur and find. Oh yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
Vice Mayor, we're going to introduce Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. And Kathy Rodriguez with the Sacramento Hispanic Chamber.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm like tearing up over here. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for having us here and acknowledging Hispanic Heritage Month, Latino Heritage Month. I always say, however anyone wants to refer to themselves, it's an opportunity to amplify the contributions and accomplishments of our entire community. And I think you saw that here today from the creatives that are here on the Dancing on the Edge, from Jesse, who I'm so proud of, who's one of our entrepreneurs. When you invest in this community, what you see is success. And so what you have in front of you, too, is our State of Hispanics 2023 Hispanic Economic Report that was really led by our Vice President, Juan Novello, and Ana Badia Marquez, who's over here doing our communications and really getting the word out. The point of this report was to help all of you have actual data, so when you're setting policy and looking at where you should invest and what that looks like, that we've given you a tool to be able to do that. Because when you see this, you will see how much progress has been made even in 2 years in our community, that there's been development, there's been growth, and there's definitely been success. So I want to thank you so much for all your support, your continued support in our community that is here obviously to flourish and do so much. What you've seen right here is a lot of economic development. The creatives here, when they do their dancing, they're bringing a lot of people into an area that has a lot of small businesses, and they're benefiting from all the work that's being done. So with that, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. And if we could have all our special guests today here in the front, Councilmember Talamantes and I will come down and we'll have the council take a quick photo recognizing the 2023 Latino and Hispanic Heritage Month. Commissioners. Thanks for making it out today. Very good. Thank you again. That's a great celebration. It'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge some of our Latinas here. Commissioner Rita Gallardo Good, who was out here, our Measure U Commissioner, Ese Marbella Salas, and of course, the wonderful work of our City Attorney, Susana Alcala Wood here. Another round of applause for contributions 2023 for Latino Heritage Month. Right here too. That's right. I'm so used to him in the back where I could see him. Well, thank you. Okay, with that, let's get to our business of the day. Madam Clerk, our first item on the agenda.
Our first item on the agenda is the consent calendar. It's items 1 through 16, and I do have 5 speakers on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First, let me look at the council on items that council members wish to speak on. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, let's go. 8. Item number 3, Laloe. Any other comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, let's. Oh yes, Councilmember Vang.
Item number 8, we can pull that item.
Okay, Kaplan, pull. And would you like to pull or comment?
There might be direction on it, I'll pull it.
Okay. All right. We're going to pull item number 8, and then that's it. Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll start with public comment.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Marguerite Naranja, Angela Smith, then Natalie Brand. Ms. Margaret? I do want to point out we have a small timer in the top corner. It's a new timer, so please be aware.
Hi, my name is Angela Smith. I'm a LVN at Kaiser. And on my second job, I work with youth in the community, and we're representing Calvary Christian Center. You can turn it around. We are on a mission to save the lives of the youth in our community. And the real pandemic is the youth out there killing each other and overdosing and dying. And we are requesting a grant to help bring all the kids in. We started an Adopt a Block youth program where we go out into the community. We adopt different blocks. We bring them food, resources, clothes. We help them get jobs. We make resumes. We help meet the needs of the people in our community. And we're here. We brought in, just in 2 blocks, Plaza Ave and Traction Ave, they're connected to right next to each other. Over 100 children just in those 2 communities. And right now that we are in need of more transportation for vans and buses for our church, Calvary Christian Center. We also have an alcohol and drug program and other programs that are helping people individually in our community. And we are here just to request a grant for funds for more vans to help save the lives of the people in our community. And for the children, we have programs to uplift, encourage, inspire them, help them on their way to college or whatever dream or passion that they might have to help them be on their way to get there. And we just thank you for your support and everything. We honor all of you guys. We know we're on the same goal to help everyone in our community be successful. God bless you guys. Thank you.
We're on item 2, but item 2 is the California Creative Corps program grants.
Sorry about that. I think we were on the wrong one.
I believe so. Would you like to speak on matters not on the agenda? The next speaker is Deborah Cummings on item 3, and then Charles Faust on item 10.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deborah Cummings. I am a native of Del Paso Heights and an advocate for Del Paso Heights. I want to speak on the item about Mama Marks Park. And what I want to say to you, to the two-thirds votes here today, before you vote, I want you to also include for Linnea, which everyone seems to forget that was a survivor here. She's not 7 anymore. She's about to be 10 years old coming up next year, okay? So I want you to remember that there is a survivor here who also was shot at Mama Marks Park. But I want to talk to the two-thirds votes here. And I want you to think about this when you go home to your families. Linnea Brent, who is now living in a whole new world, has nothing to look forward to. She didn't get any special trips that gang task force $6.1 million went out to. She didn't get anything for her birthday. I raised over $3,822 in the community with no help from the city of Sacramento, who stood right at Mama Marks Park. So I want you to take that home when you go to your children that are still there breathing and thriving and wouldn't dare be caught at Mama Marks. I want you to take that with you when you make this vote. Think about Linnea, who can't even go to Mama Marks Park to put her dolls down. I am still purchasing with no help from anyone outside of Del Paso Heights to get more dolls so they can be at the park when she comes. I just want you guys to understand. Voting today, fine. I watched everything play out here. I am triggered that you guys have taken this long. Michaela's gone.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete.
She's gone.
Thank you. Our next
Consider
speaker
her
is
when
Charles
you
Faust.
make your statement.
Thank you for your comments. Charles Faust on item 10.
We're in family. They took the loss. Fair is fair.
Hello.
That's the new mayor too.
Good evening.
One of the rare occasions going to be in positive of this on item 10. I think VOA is probably the best operator in California, so it's good that they're the one running the program. They have really good numbers, and but I do want to be a little critical. I think that on this top paragraph on page 2, that there is an admission that there was a suspending of standards in housing, health, and safety for public facilities at the time when this location was picked. I think that over time that has to be reconsidered, that some of the locations that were picked for some of these things at the time are not actually safe. They're just emergency situations. So I'm not calling for the closure or anything like that. I think it's actually fairly decent right now and needs to be open. It's just over time, things have to be reconsidered. The other thing is that the page 5, kind of the spending on the location, the $4,628,000 is $13,111 per person per year. When there are better ways to do this, there's facilities in other states and other parts of the nation that can do better, have better outcomes than this location has had for around $3,000 per year per person. And so if you actually divide that $4 million, well, $4.5 million amount by the programs around the country that are more successful, you could be, for that same amount, be housing over 1,500 people per year with that $4 million. So it's just worth considering that there are better ways to do this. But VOA is definitely the better operator in the area. So I like it.
Vice Mayor, I have no more speakers on the consent calendar.
Great, thank you, Madam Clerk. Let me bring this back to the calendar here. First, I'll go to Mayor Pro Tem Vang, then Councilmember Kaplan, then Councilmember Laloe. Mayor Pro Tem Vang.
Thanks, Vice Mayor. I just spoke to you briefly, but I think I won't pull the item. Just wanted to comment on item 8, but perhaps provide some direction if all the items on consent was to pass. So first, if Sarah can just come up here, I believe she might be in the audience. Awesome. So I just wanted to make some quick comments and just kind of really center our incredible city staff. Sarah, first I want to say thank you for all your hard work in supporting our youth commission, just the young people in our city. I had an opportunity to go through the annual report and I thought it was very thorough. And again, I just really wanted to thank you and all of our city staff that works day in and day out to support our young people in the city, but especially our Youth Commission. In this report in particular, I noticed that there were several recommendations. I think you laid out some of the highlights, what the Youth Commission has been able to accomplish, how much it costs to actually run the Youth Commission. But a big component of their annual report is recommendations made from our youth commissioners. Everything from providing feedback regarding our City 2023 legislative platform, which I think is really important to make sure that youth voice is part of that. They also provide a recommendation to SAC PD about their violent crime reduction strategy, right, which I thought was really powerful. And then also recommendation on the creation of the advisory youth liaison. And so my question to you, and maybe it's also for my colleagues to think about, I know we did this with our STA commission as well, our transportation commission. But I also want to make sure that the work that our youth commissioners put in and day out, doesn't go away. That's not just, it is on consent, it's a receive and file. But I think that we owe it to our young people who have spent their time to provide feedback that we're actually monitoring the recommendation. And so I don't know if there's a process in place right now, because I'm looking at, there were really great recommendations on the violent crime reduction strategy with PD, information about what they would like to see on our legislative platform, another recommendation on other issues. And I just want to make sure that we're monitoring them. And so I don't know if you can respond to that, or if that's something, a direction that you need from council to make sure that that happens. Would love to just get feedback on that.
Sure. So we have an internal log that we keep that's linked to each individual meeting with recommendations that we provide. So there's documentation on that. And we actually did have the violent reduction item come back to SYC, and we heard that last meeting, and they provided an update on where they were and continue to provide recommendations for anything that they needed for that one. So
That's great. Could I make an ask that if staff could just report back on all the recommendation, what's been implemented, what's in process? I think that's really important, because as a council, we provide oversight on all our commission, and oftentimes I hear from our various commission that they make recommendations and we don't do implementation, right? And so for me, I think it's really important that my colleagues on the council has an understanding of what's been implemented, what's still outstanding, so that we can monitor that as electeds on this dais. So if I could make that direction to staff, that would be great. That's my only comment. And then Sarah, I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. I know you work incredibly hard, always advocating for our young people, and really want to say thank you for supporting them. And this is a great report. Thank you.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Temp. Is that a motion with staff direction on item number 8 to get the information back? Okay, thank you. Yeah.
We know what's happening on the recommendation.
Okay, Assistant City Manager, understand that? Yeah. Okay. Councilmember Kaplan, and then you also on. Oh, it's been seconded by Councilmember Maple. Councilmember Kaplan.
Yeah, Mayor Pro Tem Bang, I think you actually made a phenomenal recommendation that is a bigger part of it, because as we all know, getting the annual work plans from all of our boards and commissions is somewhat a new process. But I think a tweak that we could look at making with all of them is they do have recommendations and the next step. So to be included in all work plans as we move forward, I think it would be wise as part of the annual, to the extent that staff knows with each item that comes forward to us, what is the status of implementation, so that it is in there within the annual work plan. Because then as we as council members receive these, it's kind of our opportunity to look, check, but also what do we need to implement, what do we need to follow back up on. So I actually see that as, and I'll work with Mindy, kind of like the next step of like, how do we make these annual like work plans very comprehensive in one place. So thank you for that idea. I think it's great that it just applies with everything that we're doing. And again, I just want to say that our youth are doing amazing jobs, and I am so very appreciative of all the work you're doing in the summer at City Hall. But this youth report and hearing their voice and their recommendations is really important to me, because it's something that I follow away and look at when I talk, because here's where they said their priorities were, how can we implement that, and how do we move forward? So those were only my comments on 8, so thank you.
No, thank you, Councilmember Kaplan, and we appreciate your work on PNP and that of the members. Sarah, likewise, I had a great opportunity with summer at City Hall this year, and very inspired by the comments of our youth. So thank you. Councilmember Laloe on item number 3.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Item number 3. I'm just static. This is a work that's been in the pipeline actually before I got elected. So I'm very excited that we have a brand-new splash pad at Mama Marks Park. I want to thank the IPSI staff for working on this. I know there were some delays, but I'm pretty sure you were also getting tired of me asking you on monthly basis what the status is. But I'm still not going to stop until the site is up and running. I know there's been a lot of misinformation and confusion out there within the community on this splash pad. But you know, this is a huge milestone today. It's something that it's an asset for the community. I'm very excited about this. It breaks my heart that it had to be done under the circumstances that no one should go through. And I'm hoping that first of all, I'm hoping that we can beat the deadline on having this project up and running and available to the community members. But I'm also hoping that the IPSI staff can get together with the family, the Brent family, and see if we can do something special about this splash pad in the memory of a young individual that's not here with us today. But as Ms. Deborah Cummings stated, her sister is, and I'm hoping IPSI can get together with the family and create something within the splash pad in the memory of the Brent family. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Laloe. Again, another exceptional job by our city parks team. Yeah. Yes, let's give them a big round of applause. With that, we've got a motion and a second on the consent calendar with direction on item number 8. Seeing no further comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay, measure passes. Now we can celebrate the splash pad there. Thank you.
Vice Mayor, the next item is a public hearing, ordinance listing 1230 45th Street. It's the Alden Anderson House as a landmark on the Sacramento Register of Historic and Cultural Resources.
Good evening.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. Sean DeCourcy, Preservation Director with the Community Development Department. I'm pleased to present you the landmark nomination for 1230 45th Street, the Alden Anderson House. This building is a rare example of a prominent Sacramento architect, Harry Devine Sr., and was built by Azevedo and Sacramento, a prominent Sacramento construction firm. In addition, the building is a fine example of the French eclectic architectural style. The Preservation Commission has reviewed the nomination and recommends listing the structure on the Sacramento Register as a landmark, pursuant to City Code Criteria 3 for its designer and builder, and Criteria 4 for its period revival architectural style. This concludes my remarks on this item, and I can answer any questions about the nomination.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, any members of the public sign up to speak on this item?
Vice Mayor, I have no public comments on this item.
Okay, let me bring this back to the council. This is a public hearing. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Thank you, and thank you, Sean and the team, for the excellent work here. Happy to open and close the public hearing and move the item.
Thank you, Councilmember. It's been properly moved. The public hearing is open and closed. It's been seconded by Councilmember Jennings. Any further comments from the council? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Measure passes.
Missing Sean.
Okay, good. Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda and to our discussion calendar.
Vice Mayor, item number 18 is African American Experience History Project, Final Draft Historic Context, and the Historic Building Survey Findings.
Back again.
Back again, so soon. But I'm joined today by former Director Carson Anderson, who was also co-project director on this project. And this is the African American Experience Project Final Draft and Summary.
Good evening, Mr. Anderson.
Before we get going with our presentation, I'd like to play a short video that summarizes the project and introduces the item.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Staff, we need audio.
Hello, I'm Daniel Hahn. I grew up here in Sacramento and have spent my entire life in this community. I'm standing in the sanctuary of Shiloh Baptist Church, the second oldest Black congregation on the West Coast. I'm here to tell you about an important history project being undertaken by the City of Sacramento. The city's Preservation Office is currently embarking on an effort called the African American Experience Project to provide the Black community and our community as a whole a way to memorialize knowledge, memory, and experiences about our lives for future generations. Participating in this effort, we can help correct generalizations, inaccuracies, and stereotypes about our history. We can also help preserve the buildings and sites associated with our history. You can visit the project website by typing in African American Experience Project Sacramento into your internet search engine. Be sure to add your email to the contact list to be notified of all upcoming events and dates the document will be released. Thank you for taking the time to view this video and learn about the African American Experience Project. I hope you've learned something about why preserving these memories is so important.
Great, thank you very much, Sam.
Sure. So we do have a few comments and a brief PowerPoint that we'll go over together. If we could get that pulled up. So this project was funded through a grant, a $50,000 grant from the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Staff and our consultants, Page and Turnbull, prepared a historic context statement, developed oral history interview collection, and documented individual historic buildings and sites that exemplify the historical experience in Sacramento. This project reflects best preservation practices and builds upon our department's prior efforts to highlight the significant historical resources in our city. Moreover, this reflects a response to the tragic deaths of Stephon Clark and George Floyd and the nationwide dialogue resulting from incidents of racism and discrimination. This project exemplifies the city's commitment to educating the public about the history of Sacramento's Black community and the roots of social inequity in our society. It's also a response to current trends among individuals and organizations who seek to curtail teaching about uncomfortable aspects of America's past. The final project deliverables reflect the project mission statement, which you see here, and supports the project use as a reference document and educational tool that will enhance the city's effort to highlight significant historical resources associated with this community and to lay a foundation for future efforts at racial healing. Turn it over to Carson now for this slide.
Thank you, members of City Council, for your attention, for having us here today. I wanted to touch upon a few key points covered in the African American Experience Project. The key deliverable was an overview history. The fancy lingo is the African American Historic Context Statement. That's sort of a sweeping, but not entirely comprehensive view of African American life here in Sacramento, starting in the Gold Rush era and moving forward to about 1980. So that's the scope of this written report. Also included oral history in gathering. I wanted to share that effort at collecting oral histories from our elders in the community is an ongoing project. So that's going to be one of the future ongoing aspects of this project. The overview history had 5 historical themes that it covered. So there is a migration and settlement chapter in the overview history. And so we talk about there how people got here, where they came from, where in the city they settled over time, the business and commercial development. African Americans were busy right from the Gold Rush era forward and operating their own businesses here in Sacramento. And so the overview history talks about some of the changes in occupations and businesses over time. Churches were a very important part of pulling together the community, providing a space for spiritual renewal as well as civic engagement and organizing. So we have a really strong chapter talking about that. And then civic engagement, of course, so the establishment of various civic organizations in the Black community, as well as the effort to redress ongoing discrimination right from the very beginning and to right those wrongs. A very strong NAACP chapter here in Sacramento opened in the 19-teens right after the First World War. And there were ongoing efforts led by our churches and by the NAACP to bring about justice and civil rights here in Sacramento. The last historical theme and chapter in the overview history deals with arts, culture, and recreation. I was really pleasantly surprised to learn how many prominent people grew up here in Sacramento who went on to careers in entertainment and the arts and athletics. It's a very impressive assortment of individuals. Another thing that I think I should mention is the phenomenal coverage we had in the media. We had coverage in the print media, on radio, and in television. Altogether, and Sean may correct me, I think we had somewhere approaching 30 news stories about this project over the course of about a year or so, pushing out the information, allowing people to connect with us and share their stories and provide guidance to us to attend the community meetings that we had. And I think before I say anything further, I'll let Sean jump back and say a few additional more things, and then I'll jump back in.
Thank you, Carson. Yes, I wanted to give special acknowledgement and thanks to a few individuals and organizations that were key to making this project a success. First, we collected over 40 oral histories, which continue to be submitted. Those are submitted by members of the community, which were key to this project and that oral history collection that'll be housed at the Center for Sacramento History. And then next, we documented over 50 historic properties, partnering with Sacramento State and graduate students who individually surveyed those properties that were identified as part of the historic narrative. We held public meetings that were facilitated by Lynette Hall and Kelly Fong-Rivas, who assisted us in our public outreach effort, getting the word out about this project. So that was also key. Preservation Sacramento partnered with us on a supplemental grant to provide $10,000 in community stipends for key individuals who supported the project as both community liaisons and subject matter experts that reviewed the draft documents and commented on various parts of the project's technical aspects. Is there anyone you would like to acknowledge and give thanks as part of the project?
I think we may have some of our volunteers here. This effort would not have been possible without a group of volunteers. As Sean mentioned, the support that we had from city staff, and including Lynette Hall, who was just absolutely fabulous in supporting us, and Kelly Fong-Rivas, both of whom spent a lot of time working with us to get the word out and to give us ideas about how we could improve our outreach and connections with the community. I'm going to read off all of the volunteers, so the key volunteers in the project, and if they are here in the auditorium with us, I hope they will stand to be acknowledged. So we have, of course, Daniel Hahn, who did the video that you saw earlier, Ella Hall Kelly, Lynette's mother, who is an invaluable community ambassador, has an immense Rolodex, if I can use that really analog term, and just brought everyone out to our community meetings. Samantha Sanders, Kim Smith-Slaughter, who provided photographic support for some of our oral history and gathering and logistical support. Sam Starks and Sharon Stiles of the Sacramento Region African American Genealogy Society, Daryl Roberts and Dale McKinney, who served as community ambassadors and hosted community forums for us. Ernie Daniels, a retired police officer who gathered together some of the old-timers and the black old-timers in the police department and captured their stories in a beautifully done video, which I hope will get greater circulation. Marsha Jones-Wiley of Kyle's Temple, Amy Zion, who gave us a lot of background historical information about the community and her church. Clarence Caesar, I think was mentioned by Sean, and Sushil Bibbs were our subject matter experts. Want to mention the interns that worked with us. Dan Fontenot of Shiloh Baptist Church, who was one of our community ambassadors. Thomas Ellis, professor at Cal State Fresno, who supported one of our oral history taping sessions, and the inimitable Jay King from the California Chamber of Commerce, who helped us hone our messaging, put us on the air, provided great oral history information for our document. I want to also mention again some of the project sponsors, the community sponsors that worked with us. Sean mentioned Preservation Sacramento, to many thanks, who provided money for stipends so that we could reimburse our community ambassadors and our subject matter experts. The California Black Chamber of Commerce, the Sacramento Observer, who gave us a great deal of news coverage. Thank you, Larry Lee. Oak Park Neighborhood Association, and I would be remiss if we didn't mention Sacramento State's Public History Program. Their students collected all kinds of information for us. They did term papers on Black historical topics. They did the first batch of oral histories of our community elders. And then the final assignment was to go out, another group of students, and actually document in detail some of the historic sites within the community that have powerful Black historical narratives associated with them. And I also want to mention the Center for Sacramento History that worked very closely with us on this. Future projects. So we mentioned some things that are ongoing. We're going to continue collecting oral histories from our community elders. We created a video, actually, that they can access online to show the technically savvy, shall we say, the grandkids and the younger generation, how they can use their smartphones to record a history of their grandparents or their parents and upload that story to the city's webpage. We are also expecting that we will have further Black family genealogy workshops. We had a wonderful one back in early June that the local genealogical society sponsored. This was one of those pop-up workshops where you could go in and, unknown to all the genealogists, go to them. They would pull up people's family information using the US Census. And so right there on the spot, people could get gaps filled in their family stories. So we hope to have further workshops of that sort happen. We also had a very fruitful conversation at our last community partners meeting back at the end of June, and talked about things like placemaking efforts where we could create virtual tours, create curricula for our schools. We did one earlier example of that before this project launched, where we got a grant from the State Office of Historic Preservation and did some videos that we put on YouTube for realtors and teachers, to give teachers ideas for teaching topics related to preservation and history, and realtors to kind of correct some of the misconceptions that are out there when they're dealing with historic buildings. So all these things we're hopeful will go forward. Let's see if I'm forgetting to mention something. I think I covered it.
So
So in conclusion, I just want to note the Preservation Commission was active in reviewing this project during its draft phases, and ultimately, the Preservation Commission and Racial Equity Committee of the City Council both reviewed the final draft and forwarded a recommendation to the City Council to accept the findings of the project. We can answer any questions you may have, and this concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Mr. Anderson. We do have members of the public signed up to speak on this item, and we'll, once we're done with public comment, we'll come back. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The first speaker is William Berg. Following Mr. Berg is Ardell Harrison, then Gabriel Knox.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council. My name is William Berg. I'm president of the Board of Directors of Preservation Sacramento, and I want to congratulate the city on the completion of this project. As Sean mentioned, we assisted with the project by managing a grant and also providing matching funds and also paying for the refreshments at a couple of public meetings. And those funds were generated by our biggest single fundraiser, the Historic Home Tour, which happened last weekend in East Sacramento for the first time ever out of 47 years. We gave you brochures to show you what we did. And one of the things that turned up this summer, when the draft of this study came out, was something that I had heard rumors about but had never seen confirmed, was that in East Sacramento, a neighborhood known as a very white neighborhood by force of racial exclusion covenants had a black neighborhood within it on 41st Street called Sugar Hill, where people like Alex Moore, one of the owners of the Momo Club, one of downtown Sacramento's jazz clubs, lived. And it's exactly this sort of story, the unexpected and the hidden, being revealed to tell a fuller story of this city that this report was intended to do. Oh, by the way, thank you, Councilmember Valenzuela, to you and your staff for your support of the tour. Also noted in the study, there was a copy of the Women's Civic Improvement Club nomination that we submitted as part of our survey that we provided to the city for the Richmond Grove Historic District, which has not yet been heard by the council, but we hope it will soon, but because not, in addition to the African-American context of the WCIC and other properties in Richmond Grove, it has a profound importance to Sacramento's Asian American community. This was one of the neighborhoods of exodus where the communities who were pushed out of the West End by redevelopment moved in the 1950s and 60s. And so we hope that history won't repeat itself and we protect those neighborhoods by listing that district. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Ardell Harrison, then Gabriel Knox, then Lynette Hall.
Good evening.
Good afternoon. My name is Gabrielle Knox. Lynette Hall is my mom, and I have participated in all the African American Experience projects. And I would like to thank the City Council for caring about my history, and I learned a lot.
My name is Lynette Hall, and I'm here today just as a member of District 5, Oak Park, but as a community engagement manager. And I really enjoyed working with Sean, Carson, and Henry on this project. I also want to give a shout out. He didn't want to come up, but Pastor Meeks has done an amazing job. He doesn't like recognition, but I just want to say thank you, thank you. And again, Dan from Shiloh Baptist Church, we couldn't have did it without him. They hosted making sure our elders and folks that were not comfortable being in public, that their message was heard as well. And then I also want to just give another shout out to my mom, who is a freaking rock star. The meeting she hosted had over 70 people. We had folks well into their 90s, almost 100 years old, participate. And Sean, I just appreciate you pivoting and understanding how important it was to not only support community voices, but even small businesses. We were able to use a different African-American caterer at each event. And Sean went out and found more money so that we could pay stipends to community members. So we weren't just asking for people's time. We provided food and stipends. So again, thank you so much for allowing us to document our history. Thank you.
Thank you, and a proud mama here, two proud mothers here.
Did I have Ardell Harrison, Jay King, Zion Tatis, and Daneth Fontenot?
Mr. King.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jay King. I'm an on-air personality at 97.5 KDEE, Sacramento's #1 community radio station, and president of the California Black Chamber of Commerce. We had the pleasure of working with the city to get the word out about the African American Experience Project, as well as host a gathering of Sacramentans who have history here so they could tell their story. It is important to note none of this would be possible without the commitment and support from city staff, including Carson Anderson, Sean DeCourcy, Henry Fruis, and Lynette Hall. I believe they really understood the importance of hosting these meetings in the communities of the people whose histories we were trying to capture, as well as having African American caterers who were used to provide food, which in turn supported small business. Lastly, I want to acknowledge how the city partnered with faith-based organizations in our city in order to reach our community. I believe this is an overall win for Sacramento as a whole. We should be proud, and I thank the city and you all for allowing this to happen. Thank you.
Zion. Following Zion is Daneth Fontenot.
Hi, good to see you again. Hi, my name is Zion, and I am so thankful for you guys coming up with this type of documentary, and especially, the community. And this will answer the question everybody asks me, why I'm immigrant coming in here, do what I do, because a lot of people don't understand what the African American went through, the history from slavery, from Jim Crow, redlining, and all that. I can go on and on and on. So that is the reason we, the immigrants coming in here, taking advantage of the opportunity that America provides, while our people, African American, who built this country, are not taking advantage of. In fact, they are left behind. So that's why I think this type of documentary is so essential that I don't have to explain now. Then I can say, go and watch that documentary, how it is, why we are only 2% of us in America, especially in California, Black people only in business, where people like us come from a different country and still get into businesses, and our kids create generational wealth, while our people, African Americans who built this country, is still left behind. So the more we have this type of educational documentary, the more we can educate our people so we can actually support the African American community. So in that way we can level the ground so the kids can also take advantage of that opportunity the ancestors created for them that we benefit of. So thank you for doing this, because we can't really get enough of getting this type of documentary, because it is so important for the success of our community, especially Black community overall. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Daneth is the final speaker on this item.
Good evening. First, I want to give honor to God, to my pastor, Anthony Sadler, to my church, Shallow Baptist Church. Most of all, I want to thank Historical Preservation Department, the staff, the board of directors, all of the volunteers that participated in this. My name is Dan Fontenot. I'm a deacon at Shallow Baptist Church. I'm in support of this African American Experience Project. Shallow is one of the oldest Baptist churches in the West Hemisphere. We've been in existence since 1856 and have served this community very, very well. I would like to let y'all know that 6 and P people was brought to Shallow Baptist Church on 3565 9th Avenue. These members serve the community as well. The members that I'm going to present to you, their name is Sister Brown, Sister Buffington, Sister Dorsey, Sister Holmes, Sister Johns, Sister Johnson, Sister Peeler, Sister Perkinson, Sister Sadler, Sister Westbrook, and Sister Cook, and Reverend Willie Cook. They have served this community for a long time. I stand here with joy in my heart.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Vice
Thank
Mayor, I
you.
have no more speakers on this item.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Deacon. Fontenot and Pastor Meeks are also for participating here and offering your facilities in your congregation. Let me bring this back to the council here. I just wanted to express my immediate thanks to Sam and Mr. Anderson for your work here and your leadership in this, and obviously Lynette Hall for your constant service to the city. So big round of applause to them. Bring this over to Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So the deacon didn't get a chance to finish his comment, and what he said was, I stand here with joy in my heart. And many of us are sitting in this room with joy in our heart because of the incredible work that many have done to bring forth the African American Experience Project. We stand here with joy in our heart because we know that this project is not only for the day, but it is a project that will educate for years to come. So I just want to thank the staff for this important work, the community volunteers, the partners. None of this could have happened without your efforts. And sometimes we feel like we got to get paid to do everything, right? This is work that you do because it's the right thing to do. I'm a kid from Washington, D.C., and I grew up in areas that I was not supposed to grow up in. We were the first family of color to move into those areas. I know that that's not unique to D.C. or to Sacramento, but it's through research like this that we can highlight and show the specifics of our community's stories and our lives. The African American Experience Project, some of the goals are to acknowledge racial injustice using history, to document Black history in an accurate narrative, to recognize historic properties important to the Black community and to the community as a whole, to challenge misinformation about the Black experience, and to record Black voices for future generations. Ours is not just the goals shared by African American people, but rather they should be the goals shared by all of us. We cannot succeed moving forward without understanding where we have been. Many of us say those who don't understand their past are destined to repeat it. I am so grateful, and my heart is filled with joy to have this report and the work that you did from the gold rush all the way to the 1980s. I am so grateful. I moved to Sacramento in 1986. I hope we will pick up the history from 1980 to 2023. What I was struck by was that we were in the West End, but we also were in Folsom and we were in Placerville. Our experience is a regional experience. Like DC, we experienced restrictive covenants telling us where we could not live. Telling us where we could not live. I, an African American, now represent the areas where we could not live. Curtis Park, Land Park, Greenhaven Pocket. And at one time, people like me living there was not the norm. As a matter of fact, when I moved in my first home in Greenhaven, African Americans were not allowed to move there. It is important to know our history and work hard to make sure that it's never repeated, especially practices of exclusion. I know that the report is over 600 pages. I myself have not finished reading the report, but I promise you I will, because I need to understand the entire history. I understand the outcomes of the African American experience, to celebrate Black history, to lay a foundation for future grant-funded projects, to leave the community with a toolkit for understanding the past, to preserve places and stories important to the Black community and help advance the city statewide efforts to address racial injustice. I'm very interested in all of the next steps, and in particular, what we can do to preserve places and stories in our communities. Mr. Assistant City Manager Laura, I want to join and work with you and the city manager and the entire staff to help craft the next steps for the city of Sacramento and our region, to build upon the work that's been done and to work for the work that we all need to do going forward. So I want to move this item forward, and I hope I get a second. I'm sure I will. And while you vote on this, I want to do one thing more, Vice Mayor. I want to take advantage of this opportunity to bring forward all the volunteers, all the individuals that had something to do with this project. If you're in the audience and you had something to do with this project, I want to come forward and I want to capture the history of you being here tonight.
Thank you. At the request of Councilmember Jennings, if you participated in the project, please come to the podium. Pastor Meeks, that includes you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Anderson, Sean, as well. Yes, please don't be shy. I think this will be in the video recording for the archives, and since this is a historic moment. And while that's occurring, let me pass this over to Mayor Pro Tem Vang. And please stay at the podium here, Mayor Pro Tem. Well, we'll do it afterwards. We're almost done here.
Well, since they're already standing up, we might as well do it now.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
do
we'll
it
bring
now.
everybody over here to the front.
Let's do that.
Quick photo.
I'm confident we'll actually have a positive vote on this one. So. Mayor Pro Tem Vang.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll keep my comments short. Beautifully said, Coach, Councilmember Jennings. I will second your motion, although I think there's numerous seconds on the table. First, I just wanted to say thank you to Sean and Mr. Anderson. Just thank you for your beautiful presentation and just all the hard work to get to this moment. Definitely want to give a shout out to Lynette Hall, who's working day in and day out to make sure that the city is reaching all of our communities. I want to thank her for her leadership, her heart and hustle. I don't see Kelly in the room, but also want to give a shout out to Kelly Rivas as well for really doing some of the background legwork to make this project happen. And I just want to take this moment to actually thank all of the volunteers, all our faith-based organization, and all the residents that participated in this project. I think many of you all know, as you heard from Councilmember Jennings, is that the African American, the Black community have played an important role in really shaping the history of Sacramento. But to date, many of their contributions have been significantly under-recognized. And what this project does is, one, to bring light to that, but also to really center the voices and the history of Black folks in Sacramento, not just in Sacramento, but the region. As a former student of ethnic studies, we often say, no history, no self. Know your history, know yourself. And what we're doing today is so important because it's about preserving and protecting those stories, especially stories from our African American elders, and so that we can have that to share with our young people, but not just our young people, but everyone in the city. I'm really excited to hear that this is not the end of the project, that this is really just the beginning, and really looking forward to the future projects, and would like to also lend my support in figuring out what we can do to continue this project. I think there's already a motion on the table, what Councilmember Jennings would like to do to support, but love to also be part of that and support you, Councilmember Jennings, and the community in any way possible. And so with that, thank you so much to everyone for your hard work, and I'll second Councilmember Jennings' motion.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem Vang. Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Chair. And I will keep my comments very brief because who can say anything better than Councilmember Jennings and Mayor Pro Tem Vang? Thank you for your comments. And at the risk of sounding redundant, I think it's really important to shout out Lynette Hall in particular and Kelly Fong Rivas. None of this would have happened, especially the connection to community, the real focus on bringing people together and creating spaces where people felt comfortable sharing their stories is really important, and that's due to your hard work and all of those who participated in the project. So I think that's really important to call out. And a couple of those meetings I was able to attend, and I think it's also important to point out that a lot of this history comes from District 5, and especially Oak Park, the community where you live, where you grew up, a lot of your family members. My district director, Michael Benjamin, second. His father was actually one of the first people named in the list. And so I think it's that Oak Park community and the whole city of Sacramento that's a part of this. And there's two things I wanted to bring up. One is this is, I think, a really important step for the city, and one that I haven't seen in a lot of other places. And that's first an acknowledgement that we didn't do right. You know, we didn't make sure that we captured this history, and we didn't capture it accurately. When we go back and look and we don't see those stories, we don't see that history, that's a disservice to our community members and to our children and future generations. And so that's step one. And then step two is, what are we going to do about it? And that was this. And so just seeing that acknowledgement into action is really powerful. It shows that we can do this work, that we can start to tell those stories. And you know, so I also want to support Councilmember Jennings. So what's next? And what's next after that? One of the things that I mentioned this previously when this was before us, that I would love to see a partnership with the school districts in our region. I'd love to see this history be a part of the curriculum that our children in Sacramento learn, right? Because a lot of times when we talk about history, it tends to be like a national history. So, and I think, well, we need to know about who these leaders were in our very neighborhoods, in our town, in our city as a whole, and the contributions that they have provided. And so a lot of these are people that are still in my neighborhood. They're still down the street. These are elders, and their stories are really important. So I just wanted to give those remarks, say thank you to everyone who participated in the project, and really excited for the next steps. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Maple. Again, thank you to all the community members who participated. Special thank you to all our city staff who put a lot of time into this as well. With that, we have a motion by Councilmember Jennings, and according to the city clerk, because I don't want to get in the middle of who all got the second, it was Councilmember Talemantes who got it first. So it's been probably moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the measure passes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, everyone, for your contribution. Madam Clerk, next item on the agenda, please.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Item 19 is Sacramento Employment and Training Agency SATA operating budget for fiscal year 2023-24.
Good evening. I'm very short, so hopefully this works. Good evening. My name is Dia Sauerborn. I'm the Interim Executive Director for the Sacramento Employment Training Agency. And tonight I have for your review and approval the 2023-2024 fiscal year budget. I have a quick, very high-level overview for you, and I'm happy to answer any questions at the end. The budget for SETA is projected to be about $127 million for this upcoming fiscal year. We are 100% grant funded. And just to give you an idea of how that's broken down, we have two different sort of sides of the house that do a lot of different types of work out in the community. About 28% of our funding goes towards Workforce Development Department. Another 72% goes towards our Children and Family Services Department. And the way our budget is breaking down by expenditure category, we spend about 44% on salaries and fringe. 41% goes out into our subrecipients, the community-based organizations and clients out in the community. 13% is for operating costs, and we have about 2% for fixed assets. In the Children and Family Services Department, that accounts for about $91 million of our $127 million budget. 86% of that comes from our federal Head Start funding that helps us serve 3,848 preschool slots within Sacramento County, which serves ages 3 to 5. And we have 935 infant toddler slots, which serve anywhere between women who are pregnant all the way up to the 3-year-olds when they transition into the preschool. With those funds, we're able to serve 114 centers countywide, 38 of which SETA ourselves operate. We have 5 delegates and 2 partners that we subcontract with to help us serve all those, almost 5,000 children in the county. And SETA operated program itself serves about 660,000 meals annually to all of the children that we serve just within the SETA operated program. To run those programs, about 51% of our budget goes towards salary and fringe, 35% set aside for our partners and delegates. We only spend about 11% on operating costs, and the 3% on fixed assets goes towards improving our playground structures and our facilities that serve the children. We also receive some additional funding from CDE and CDSS from state funding to help layer some of those child care funds to be able to extend the day longer for our Head Start children. So we're able to leverage a lot of state and federal funding to serve more children. In our Workforce Development Department, it accounts for about $36 million of our budget. We are able to serve 15 job centers in the county. We have over 90 subcontractors. We're very well connected within the community-based organization and other government agencies in the county to be able to provide those services. We serve about 20,000 basic customers every year. That's just anybody that comes in the door receives any type of service at our job centers. And over 2,000 serve individual training customers for higher level services of training throughout some of our programs. 90% of the customers that we serve in these programs have barriers to employment, and they're typically very high barriers to employment, homelessness, English language learner, or justice involved, just to name a few. And we're able to confirm that 65% of our clients do find employment within our system. The grant funding for this department is about 38% Workforce Investment Opportunity Act, which is the WIOA funding that helps fund all the job centers. 41% comes from refugee funding. We have a lot of refugees that are coming to Sacramento County and the city, as I'm sure you're aware. We have about 7% comes from our CSBG, the Community Service Block Grant, and we have a variety of other funding sources that we receive from county, city, and local and non-government sources as well. In our Workforce Development Department, about 55% is sent out to subrecipients and client obligations. 27% is spent on salaries and fringe for SETA, and 18% is spent on operating costs. Like I said, it's very short, quick, high level. Happy to answer any questions you might have. And with that, I leave it to you and for your approval.
Great, thank you, Diet. Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public signed up to speak on this item?
Yes, Vice Mayor, I have one speaker, Ann Liu.
Good evening, Council. My name is Ann Liu. I'm a local business owner over here. Foremost, I'd like to thank you guys for passing a couple weeks ago about the safe grounds. I think SETA is going to play an important role once the safe ground gets put up, and then these homeless, they need job training, they need the health and human services, all those which the county I hope will provide. I think SETA will play an important role in providing job training. One thing I would like to remind and offer the council members is that don't forget about our small businesses and how we can help the community with the job training. I personally own a coffee shop, and I am using SETA to actually job train a youth in my coffee shop. And just on a business standpoint, if I were to hire someone with experience, coffee experience, boba experience, it takes me about just a week and a half to 2 weeks to train them to get acclimated. If I train someone with no experience at all, it takes 8 weeks for them to get acclimated. And so you can see why us as small business owners, we tend not to hire anyone with no experience because it's very costly on our end. Especially right now, if I have 1 position, 2 positions open, I have about 60 applicants trying to fill those 2 positions. So I'm hoping that you guys will pass this measure, and especially having a little bit more transparent on how the money is spent. And hopefully we'll get more funding to provide additional job training to our youth, because I see that in April 1st of 2024, McDonald's and all of those fast food chains will go at $20 an hour, and I can only see them automizing their stores, and there are going to be less jobs for youth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Liu. Madam Clerk.
I have no more speakers on this item.
Okay, let me bring this back to the council. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation from SETA. I have a couple questions, if that's okay, or maybe comments, I don't know. I'm not on the SETA board. This is one of our many, many JPAs where some of us get to be there and some of us don't. But I'm curious, and it's actually a funny segue from the last commenter, because that was kind of my question, was about partnerships, not just with business owners in the districts, but I think we might have some union members in the audience, and so I'm curious about apprenticeship partnerships. How are we funneling people into the programs and working in tandem with these different groups that are trying to bring workers in? Do you have any, I know you were here to present on the numbers, but I don't know if you have any high level.
I can tell you that we work throughout the community through a lot of different community-based organizations, through a lot of different companies, and we work with a lot of different unions. We have our Sacramento Workforce Board that has a labor management represented on it. We have a private sector represented on it as well. We have a specific manager who focuses only on working with employers in the community to be able to do hiring and reaching out. So we can work with any employer who needs it, to be able to go out and see what they need. If there's something specific, as she was talking about, for youth, to get that work experience. Our We Owe a Youth program is specifically for that, to work with those 18 to 24-year-olds to get that work experience. And we have federal requirements to have at least 20% of the money we spend to go towards that work experience, and to be able to pay for those wages for those youth to be in those private industries to get that experience. So we do have a far reach into the community to a lot of different agencies and organizations to try and build those pipelines. I know a lot of the committees we work with apprenticeships and with a lot of different programs. I wish I had them all in my head to share with you, but I know they have a very far reach for that.
I mean, that would be pretty impressive to have the whole budget and all of your partnerships in your head, so I don't blame you at all for that. I would like that information, though, because like when I talk to different, like especially like local trade union membership, none of them work with SETA, and I think that's a real missed opportunity, especially when we think about pre-apprenticeship and how to help close the barriers to getting people into these programs. But I guess, I mean, there's so much money that goes to SETA, and it's money, it's good money, you know, and I know the Head Start program really well and worked a lot with parents there when we were doing asthma outreach and education, so I understand how that side of the house works, but I'm way less familiar with how the other side of the house works, and would really like to understand how SETA is lining up your resources and staff capacity with these opportunities so that we can try to figure out how to pair up. Safe Grounds is another great example of, like, you know, everybody who's in our shelters who's interested in working should be getting crosswalked into one or more programs that interest them, and so I just want to make sure that we're lining up, I guess, if that, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Happy to make some introductions so you can get the information you need and be able to expand on that. Give me a year or two, I'll have more information to be able to just
I
spout
appreciate
off
that.
the
Yeah,
top
I
of
know
my
you're in
head.
some leadership transitions right now. I guess, like, I'm looking for a global view. Like, where does the money go for the workforce training side, and how can we line it up with resources that are already out there so that we can maximize our impact? If that makes sense.
Definitely does.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Valenzuela. And we do have a member of the Sac Sierra Building Trades Council on the Sacramento Works Board, and also the AFL-CIO Central Labor Council is part of the Sacramento Works Board as well, that advises the operations at SETA as well. Let me bring this over to Mayor Pro Tem Vang, who is our board member of Employment Training Agency. And
A newer board member.
yes.
So thank you so much, Vice Mayor. Then I just want to say thank you for your presentation, and definitely want to center the comments of Ann, who came today to speak about aligning and really making sure that we're reaching out to our small businesses and figuring out how we're connecting our residents with employers, right? Just unions, trades, but also our small business is really key. And I think Councilwoman Valenzuela also uplifted, wanted to know kind of like the high picture in terms of workforce. And so very, very valid questions. And I think it's important to be able to provide that data to the full council. I think many of us know on the dais, at least up here, that SETA is really about uplifting our babies. You see that a big portion of our budget is really around really childcare, right? But another big component of what SETA is supposed to do is really the workforce piece, which is so critical. And we get a lot of federal dollars. Actually, SETA's budget is completely 100% grant funded, right? And so, I definitely just want to center that. I know that I'm going to be echoing that as a board member on SETA as well. Something I also want to share with all of you is that recently we renewed our CWTA, right? And responsibility of SETA, as well as staff has shared with me, is that SETA is actually responsible for auditing to ensure that those numbers are reaching our target goals locally, right? We have threshold on zip codes or local hire, and so SETA is supposed to actually monitor that, and also they're supposed to also work with the trades to connect residents to those jobs. And so that's my understanding, right? But I think it's important that I just put that on record and to ensure that that's really happening, right? And what can we do to also support our SETA staff to make sure that's happening. The other piece is, I've shared this publicly, is that a lot of folks in our city don't know what SETA does, right? And it's also really important to make sure that we get the word out about the work that we do, everything from childcare to workforce. And I know that we're undergoing a new remarketing strategy right now, like with new logos and everything, a new outreach strategy, because we don't even have a Twitter/X account. We don't even have, right? Like when I'm trying to tag SETA, I can't even find them on social media. So we're a little bit behind. I've vocalized that to the SETA board as now vice chair, and really hoping we can hit the reset button on SETA and really do a better outreach in alignment with employers, with their trades. And so just wanted to share that as well. I know I sit on the SETA board with Vice Mayor Guerra as well, who has much more experience than me. I'm a newer SETA board member, but definitely diving in and learning a lot about what we're doing great and areas of improvement. And there's definitely areas of improvement that needs work, right? And so I'm looking forward to working with you, Danette, and our entire staff. I know we're currently we're going to be looking for a new executive director as well. Might be looking at different governance models as well. And so I think this is the time to hit the reset button, and really looking forward to figuring out how we can make SETA better for the Sacramento region. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Vang. Is that a motion to approve the budget?
Yeah, that's a motion to approve the budget, and that we got a lot of work to do at SETA.
Thank you very much. And as it properly as moved and properly seconded by Councilmember Maple here, I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you to all the workers at employees at SETA, many of our folks, many of our AFSCME employees out there as well. And also to just highlight, we talked about the workforce piece, but the key initiative that was initiated by this council on the City and County Child Care Task Force has now led to a better partnership between the County Office of Education, between all our private child care providers, and created now apprenticeship programs. And we've helped fund part of that through our ARPA funding that we've had to help train people into the workforce and using the apprenticeship model to be able to help support the very needed. And just to look at how many people rely without the access of affordable and available child care, they could not continue to support their families. So thank you, Diet. It's been properly moved and seconded. Are there any further comments from the council? Seeing none, all those signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you very much. That measure passes. Okay, thank you, Diet. All right, Madam Clerk, next item on the agenda, please.
Our next item is number 20, new incident command model.
Okay. Mr. Lara, is that on you over here?
Yes, Honorable Vice Mayor and members of the council, my name is Assistant City Manager Mario Lara. I'm sitting in for Howard Chan. The item before you is an update on the incident command model. It will be presented by Assistant Chief Brian Pedro, who is making his way up. As brief introductory remarks, I'll just say that 7 weeks ago, we presented to you an updated citywide homeless response protocol into which we incorporated the incident command structure. While the incident command structure is not anything new, we are newly applying it to our homeless response protocols. And in those 7 weeks, we've made quite a bit of progress. And again, we've tapped Assistant Chief Brian Pedro. This has been a very collaborative process. I want to say thank you to all the staff that have worked on this. It's still a work in progress, and Brian is here to provide you with an update. Thank you.
Assistant Chief, good evening.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, Assistant City Manager, council members. We'll go ahead and I'll try to explain our new program and then see if we can understand this a little better. Do I have control of this up here? Okay. All right, so the new program we have out is the incident management team, and kind of the question is, what is this? What's the function of this? Basically what it is using our citywide protocol, our homeless protocol, and putting it into a command structure with a chain of command so we can have a more organized response. As you can see from this slide, all the city agencies that are involved in this, we have code enforcement, DCR, police department, park rangers, county has behavioral health services, with the fire department, public works, animal care, and forensic cleaning. There's a lot of people to try and get organized in one direction. What this does essentially is it organizes all these assets. We coordinate this with a standard response, and then it's a constant reevaluation. It's an intentional reevaluation every week, every day, of making sure that we're getting this right and we're using our resources as efficiently as we can. This is a breakdown of what our structure looks like. I have some key areas circled. So the top circle there is where I report out weekly to the leadership, let them know where we're going and what we've done for the week, and discuss strategies for the following week. Our next circle there is our planning, operations, and finance. That's essentially our command staff. We again have a weekly meeting with several daily conversations. But we're looking at setting up our strategies for strategic planning for the week. And then lastly, we have it broken out into the two responses. We have the rapid response on the left and the coordinated response on the right. And I'll discuss those a little bit later, but what I wanted to point out on the circle on the left side. So each department head within those circles, we have a weekly meeting as well with them to get feedback because they're the ones out in the street, and we want to make sure that, again, anything that's not flowing right, working right, anything we need to adjust, then I get feedback from them and we adjust that for the following week to make sure that we're tracking this right. So let's start with the objective of this, is really to connect our community members with that are experiencing homelessness with services. We want to reduce the negative impact to our city. So a piece of this is enforcing some compliance with our Sac City codes and the California vehicle codes. And then also we're doing some encampment cleanup. So that's the objectives that we follow every day in implementing this program. 311. So for the integrity of this program to work, it needs to funnel through one system and information needs to flow from one point. 311 is the system that we are using for this information to flow from. It allows us to get these calls, it allows us to triage them and prioritize the calls to provide the appropriate response. What we're hoping this limits is the chatter from anybody that has a phone number to somebody within our team and calling for those one-off calls that end up being multiple one-off calls, and the system will not work if we're trying to chase down one-off calls. We prioritize this daily. We look at where we're going and how we're going to deploy everybody. It is flexible enough to move around as needed, but we will work strictly off of what's coming in through 311 and prioritizing through the 311 calls. The asterisk there is a slight lag in the 311 system right now. They are trying to clean up the lag. It's anywhere from hours to a day on that lag, but we are aware of it. We're working with it. There's plenty of calls to chase down before those calls come in, I guarantee you. And this shows you the number of calls that are coming into the 311 system regarding homelessness. We're averaging about 120 calls a day. With the size of the current team we have, we averaged out about 74 calls per day. Obviously, we're running in the red every day. We get farther behind on the weekends because our staff is even smaller on the weekends. And the nasty truth of our current response time from chasing down and through in one call is 16 days. And we have over 2,000 calls pending. As we build out the teams and we get more teams in the field, we will see this number going down. Right now, we're working with the teams that we have and trying to keep up the best that we can. Code enforcement is also part of this response. We give you an idea. This is the overall code enforcement numbers for a week's time. So they're as busy as the rest of us, working, tagging, and towing vehicles. We did do a carve out with their numbers to identify vehicles that are associated with homelessness so we can start tracking what's just tagged and separate regular tows, any violation tows from any vehicles that are associated with homelessness. Prioritizing the calls. This is where we try and figure out how all of our priority one calls are our priority. So we have to start somewhere. Critical infrastructure is obviously our number one that we're working with. And then we're looking at encampments where public health and safety, and then encampments that are in violation of our city code and vehicle codes. Here's our examples. We have 500 feet within schools, which we're tracking fairly well. Encampments posing fire threats. We have a fair amount of those that are out there. Critical infrastructure encampments, sidewalk ordinance, park curfews. They're all there. They're all priority calls. Our response models that we have a rapid response, a coordinated response. Yes.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
How many of the calls that you're getting would you say fall under priority one, if you had to estimate?
Well, I'll give you since August to today's date, there's that we ran rapid response on, which would be priority calls, 917 calls. And 885 of them were sidewalks, and then 32 were critical infrastructure.
Okay. And that's out of the 2,000 calls that you have, or? Okay.
But that's we're pulling that 900 off as 900 and 1,000 come in. Okay. So that 2,000 is
so most
is
of the
growing.
calls. Okay. Thank you.
This is what our rapid response looks like. We have DCR, Police Department Impact Team. If we're running in the parks, then we have a park ranger element to our response, code enforcement, and then we have Forensic Clean doing our encampment cleanup. So the makeup on it, we have one DCR resource coordinator, we have 2 impact officers, we have 2 roaming code enforcement officers. If there's a vehicle involved, in the meantime, until we need them, they're working code in the area. And then our cleanup contractor is as needed on call. Rapid responses are for our smaller encampments. 4 to 6, up to 10 personnel can be managed with these teams. Again, we're deploying out not only by priority, but we're also trying to geographically hit all of our districts. If we went strictly by call number, call based, we'd be sitting in 1 district or 2 districts all day. And then what else do we have on here? So again, park rangers, we are working with supporting park rangers to work the encampments within parks. Our coordinated responses for the larger encampments, multiple tents. It's going to take days to clean up these encampments. Again, these responses, they're a scheduled response. so everybody can get their teams together. These responses are only after weeks and months of outreach being provided to these encampments before we put them on the schedule to do a coordinated. The coordinated is essentially multiple rapid response teams, and then we have currently over 70 identified that are on this coordinated response, larger coordinated response list. This is what the coordinated looks like. So the street wellness on the left side of this, the DCR and the county outreach teams, that's the outreach that's being provided for several weeks and several months in some cases before we shift over to the right side of this and send the coordinated response out. This is what our schedule looks like. It does adjust, but this is an example of what we're looking at. We have a coordinated response at the top there. We're running rapid response every day. We see that Impact only is working weekends. If we do have overtime that DCR wants to work their weekend, then we can pick up and put a rapid response team in place over the weekend. Code is running 7 days a week right now with overtime over the weekends. And then the Rangers are running 7 days a week, but they have a very limited response, 2 to 3 at the most daily. Oh, I will note on our calendar at the bottom there in blue, Impact does tagging prior to our coordinated responses. That's posted on Friday. So we have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and really part of Tuesday that they have been notified before we go into the coordinated response. This is an example of what our daily ops brief looks like. All the teams are there. They're all briefed on what our map looks like. This is an example. So if your district isn't in here with a dot on it, this is only an example. And the way the map looks, it looks like we're covering a lot, but some of those dots are two-person teams. And so we're hitting everywhere. We're hitting them in small teams. Again, we're building out, as we speak, we're building out our rapid response to be able to respond to district-wide, all areas, every day. Some of the things that are in our ops brief is the maps and our activity, so everybody knows where everybody is, and we have a coordinated response. We have shelter availability that's on that every day. Our weather conditions, in case we are in weather respite conditions, everybody's aware of that day that they go out. I put our objectives on there every day so we all understand what we're doing and why we're out there. Our total personnel assigned that day, so everybody's aware of how many people we have out in the field, and then they get their specific assignments for who's running a rapid call. General calls are just that DCR, Hope Cooperative, and our behavioral health going out and just doing outreach, and then our coordinateds. We do have on there requests for assistance. So if we have requests from districts that are out there that are high priority, they will be on there, and we will put those on the agenda. Some of the things that we've implemented so far to try and organize this thing is that I organized the model itself. We have new apps that we've put out that will be implemented this week for the Rangers and Impact to get a live update of information they're putting in. It'll be an app on their phone that they carry with them so they can put that in. We created some subtypes for the 311 system so we can break out that the homeless isn't only homeless calls, but it subcategorizes them into critical infrastructure, sidewalk, et cetera. That will help us respond a little better to those calls. We have created an email box that is for our utilities, our RD1000s, all the infrastructure that needs to be worked on, so we know when those are coming due, and we can send a team to help them clear any encampments that are on their day of work still at the site. currently working on a public dashboard to get out to everybody. Just trying to get the final details on that, actually, of what's how much we want to put out there without boring everybody with too much detail of the dashboard. All right. I restructured the teams a little bit so we could expand our teams by taking one DCR with 2 impact officers. We were doing 2 and 2, but we have more impact officers than DCR, so we're spreading out the teams. And then lastly, the thing I have on there is planned training for all of our overtime. If law enforcement brings in personnel to help expand our impact team, we need to get to them trained up before they get into the role of impact and running with DCR. Lastly, in closing here, so what the incident management team and this response model is. So it's providing outreach, and it's enforcing our compliance with our city codes and our California vehicle codes. And we're balancing that the best that we can. What it's not is we are not sweeping encampments. We are providing outreach for weeks and months before there is, and they are tagged 72 hours in advance before we do anything. And then the moving of encampments simply because you called 311, that's a little misunderstanding. Calling 311 because you have an encampment doesn't mean that encampment is going to be moved. That means that it will be assessed and determined if it's a violation there, if it's a violation with critical infrastructure or sidewalk or any of our codes that we have, and then it will be determined whether it's going to be moved or not based on that assessment. That is as quick as I could get through this. Yeah. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Assistant Chief. Madam Clerk, how many do we have on public comment on this item?
3 speakers on this item.
Assistant Chief, we're going to take public comment first, and then we'll come back with questions and comments from the council. Madam Clerk.
My first speaker is O, then MVW, then Ann Liu.
I just find it really interesting that today the mayor and Howard Chan have seemed to manage to not be present at this meeting, given the presser that was shown this morning by the DA. I feel like it's like you're dodging accountability, so we see you. We're not new to this. I'm going to say my name today. My name is Odette Zapata. I shared in the first few weeks when I started coming to City Council, we've been here for 26 weeks now, that me and my family, we came here to Sacramento when I was just a child to have a better life, have a better future. It's real interesting now that I'm going to have to pack up my family and they have to move across the state because they can't afford to live in this city anymore. You talk about encampment sweeps, you talk about homelessness, but these are people's lives. There's people's lives. My dad came to this country when he was 15 years old from Guadalajara, Mexico. We talk about Black and brown culture in this space. And what I see you guys talking about is protecting and preserving our history, Black and brown history, but at the same time, what are you doing to protect Black and brown lives? What are you doing to protect Black and brown lives? I don't see that here, ever. It's always a L. You have all these men and women in this room that I see behind me probably here to ask for a livable wage so that their children don't go hungry, so that they don't become the next people living outside on the sidewalk with no place to go. Until you have adequate shelters, until you have adequate places for people to live, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for our Black and brown community members to be struggling, and then you meet them with enforcement. You meet them with SAC PD. And not just the older folks, but you meet our Black and brown youth with enforcement, with SAC PD. I've watched it just this past weekend. SAC PD harassing, falling on Mexican Independence Day, following a group of brown youth in blocks for blocks after blocks. It's unacceptable. Y'all have to do better.
Thank you for your comments. Our next speaker is MVW, then Ann Liu.
Another week, another chance for the city to reconcile with its past.
Reconciliation is a complex set of processes that involve rebuilding relationships. We rebuild those relationships with our Native, Latinx, and Black residents by not doing performative resolutions or projects that go nowhere, but by taking sharp stances against hatred. This reconciliation isn't possible when the diocese holds people who want nothing but power and to further their own careers. When will the lies and broken promises from you all end? It's been weeks and weeks, and the bullshit is still endless. From the unhoused crisis to the firing of police officers and fire department personnel, Howard Chan, as city manager, is the king of Sacramento and holds too much power in his hands. He's not even here today. He misuses his position and has perpetuated how unlivable Sacramento has become for the poor, Black, and brown. Criminalizing poor people struggling and adding more enforcement doesn't work. It never has. Stop towing vehicles, stop sweeping encampments, and talk to folks actually living in them. Your objective should be to give humanity to those experiencing homelessness, a disaster you created. Shelters, housing, sanitation, safe grounds, safe parking, and mental health services is what works. When will we as constituents be allowed to hold our elected officials and those that are handpicked liable for the decisions they make? You continue as the council to allow Howard Chan to not do his job. He never comes back to the council with what you requested. He's not even here today. I couldn't miss my job on a day that I'm supposed to present something. The mayor and the city manager are more occupied with litigation against them than their community suffering outside. There's zero accountability and unchecked power in our city. The mayor, city manager, city clerk, and city attorney are running the whole puppet show while we all suffer on the strings.
Thank you for your comments. Ann Liu. Our final speaker is Ann Liu.
Hello. First and foremost, I would like to let everyone know I was born and raised in Sacramento, so I also come from poverty. But as this homeless issue, I hope that the City Council will look at the data to see where these homeless people are coming from. Are they residents of Sacramento, or are they brought in from other places and put into our city? I think that is very important to, number one, to address that issue to see, is it Sacramento residents being affected? Of course, there will be some, but are there other cities, kind of busing them in? Right? So that's and another thing I would like to point out is that I know everyone is kind of upset with this homelessness issue, especially neither from the unhoused, from the business owners, and also from the residents, right? So it's kind of like can we kind of please everyone? I don't think there's going to be a solution that anyone or everyone's going to be completely happy with. And I commend for the city for doing what they can and what's in their hands at the moment to kind of deal with the lawsuit from the district attorney and from the budget constraints, right? Because Health and Human Services is a county issue, but yet our city is stepping up to doing what they can, and I commend you guys for it. And I commend the city workers for doing a tough job in sweeping encampments when it's not their decision, they're just giving an order and they're just doing their job. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Vice Mayor, I have no more speakers on item 20.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, let me bring this back to the council here. I just want to remind our council that this is an oral report and a receive and file, so no action for today. I'll start off with Councilmember Laloe, Mayor Pro Tem Vang, and then Councilmember Valenzuela, Mayor Pro Tem Vang, and then Councilmember Laloe. Sorry.
It's okay. Thanks, Vice Mayor. Yeah, flipped it around. Deputy Chief, would you mind coming back up? Yeah, thank you. I'm hoping you could pull up that slide with the super teeny tiny organizational chart on it again for us. Not that we can totally see it, but if I blow it up on here, I can kind of see it and you can talk me through it. This was really helpful. Thank you for giving us a briefing. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So I have a couple of questions about this chart.
Sure.
First, under city services where it says compliance and it says SPD and park rangers, are you following me?
Yes.
Okay. why doesn't it say DCR there? And I ask because when they presented to us last time, they mentioned that they were able to get compliance 80% of the time when they did outreach. And so that seems like a better use of their time versus PD's time. So I'm curious why they're not a part of the compliance outreach team.
So on that side, it's a coordinated response. So DCR is a branch over on, it's in that whole response. We just branched it off into the street wellness side of showing the DCR and the county behavioral health being out there, but they're still all within part of that response.
Okay. So maybe the chart needs a little.
I could, yes, I could.
Okay.
I could add
I
them
appreciate
down at the
that.
bottom of that compliance.
Yeah.
To
Because I feel like
illustrate.
our general practice has been try to do DCR first so we can
Right,
try to get
absolutely.
voluntary and then resort to more enforcement.
And I think that's part of that other slide, why I wanted to separate that out and show the branches of it, because that, in this, where it says street wellness, that DCR and county outreach, that's where they've been doing outreach on these coordinated sites
Okay.
for many weeks
Okay.
to months on some. But then they're still out with that response when we go out for the coordinated, they're still engaged.
Because I
in
see
that.
like two types of, like, when I think of street out wellness, I'm thinking, I'm checking on you, you're an encampment, I don't want you to be out here, but you're not immediately violating a code, versus compliance is like, hey, you're violating a code, as you said, it sounds like most of them are sidewalk, and we need you to comply. So I would like, I guess this is more of a statement than a question, then I'd love to see, make sure DCR is a part of that, because it'd make more sense to me if PD was prioritizing their time for the encampments that we'd already come to and said, hey, you're out of compliance, and they've not complied. So save them for like the maybe 20% or less cases and not for all of them. And then similarly, when it says compliance, what I noticed is that there's nothing really separating city codes like sidewalk ordinances and critical infrastructure from like criminal issues. And obviously that doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen when there's an issue raised about a specific encampment that, you know, for instance, there's a story, anyways, I won't go into specifics because I don't need to. So like, I guess I'm wondering where that fits into this model, if there's a concern about potential exploitation, for example, of people out in an encampment, or something wrong is happening, who's in charge of, like, where does that fit in this? Is that just PD, or are they operating separately than the IMT in that regard, or how does that fit?
So I would defer that to PD, but I will tell you that the compliance piece is simply the compliance of ordinance. If we stumble on something that's obvious that requires more than that, then they're essentially have to
Yeah.
enforce.
Okay, no, I
We're
appreciate,
essentially just looking for.
I don't want to put you on the spot for all the
We're
departments.
we're
I
just
guess
looking
I'm
for the
asking.
protocol code violations and.
So that's a
city-
separate, so I guess indirectly what you're saying is if there's a criminal concern, that's a separate matter entirely from currently the way you operationalize your IMT. Like, you're not prioritizing encampments, for example,
There-
based on there's a concern with exploitation.
You're correct.
Okay.
Councilmember, we have a response here
Oh,
from.
I can respond to
City
that too, yeah. When we get a criminal complaint that's in an encampment, that's a 911 call typically, and you'll get a PD response through that system, through the 911 system. That's typically when you would get a call. If the impact team is out there and they do observe criminal behavior, obviously they're police officers, they're peace officers, and they can take action on that if they actually observe that. But typically when the call is a criminal-related call, that's a 911 call.
Okay, I guess I just, I want to make sure it's clear, and I know some of my colleagues might pick up on this, so I won't rip into it too much, but I think some people are using 311 differently, and so I just want to make it super clear. When do you say there's a code issue and like someone's blocking a sidewalk, or I'm worried about access to this critical infrastructure, versus how do you report, it's not an emergency, like nothing's happening right now, but I'm worried because I'm seeing something happen at this encampment that I think might be criminal, and I'd like somebody to look into that. So I guess I want to differentiate that and make sure it's included as we're looking at integrating a model here.
So there also is a police non-emergency number that
Yes.
folks can call. And if it's sort of criminally related, but it's not a crime in progress, and they want to alert on that, that's an option as
Okay.
well that
I guess I
residents
just want to make sure, because I think the data shows pretty clearly sometimes that when non-law enforcement do outreach, and I know our DCR teams and our social workers have done a really good job sometimes of building trust, but it's just a little bit more responsive from people. And so I guess I want to make sure, like if there's an instance where there's one person in an encampment of 20 people, and this has happened, right, that we're pretty sure somebody in this encampment is doing something wrong, but not everybody, right? And so what we tend to do is eventually it gets to the point where the whole encampment gets moved. And it's like, okay, well, I get that we were trying to address an issue, but instead of address the issue, we just moved everybody. And so we moved 19 people who probably weren't doing anything wrong and just happened to be near somebody who was doing something wrong. So I want to incorporate this gradient of how we think about different levels of code and law violations as we look at this moving forward. It's a good time. I'm first, since you're standing up there, sorry. Priority one calls. I can't help but think, and I know I mentioned this when we adopted the enforcement call, but like if everything's priority, then nothing's priority. And it sounds like that's proving out in the numbers a little bit, where you're saying that like most of the calls we're getting are ending up to be priority one because they're violating some city code or some critical infrastructure or something. And so would it be helpful for council to provide a little direction within priority one to help further prioritize? So like for me, an instance would be if there was something that had raised to a criminal activity level, that's number one, right? Or like you're immediately blocking, like the fire truck can't access the station because there's an encampment on the corner. Like that's number one, versus like everything else would be more like number two.
And those are already in the protocol
Okay.
as a
But it's kind of
priority
lumped in
call.
together with everything, right? Or are you kind of using that within priority one?
Yes, and to triage and prioritize the priority calls is the trick to this of trying to balance getting a team out deployed citywide and not just chasing down, what there's more than one priority call, so we're sending teams out to handle, 5 priority calls. And there's, we can only triage them, the best that we can with.
Okay.
I don't know that you could put this is the priority of the priorities.
Yeah, okay. I guess it's more just like not necessarily a clear-cut line, right? But maybe like some guidance around like obviously, I appreciate your interest in being geographically dispersed, for example, right? But like if there's an encampment in one district that's calling, like there's several encampments, say in one part of town, and we're worried about a lot of escalation and potential violence, for example, right? And we're like,
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, we need to go out here.
Absolutely.
I would rather you say not go to an encampment in District 4, which is not a popular thing to say if you're going to one that's like, you're just like, this is more urgent.
Yes.
Like we need to go to this camp faster.
And that is taken into account.
Okay,
There
that's helpful.
is, and I say call volume, but there are areas that stand out because we are getting excessive calls. That will be on our priority.
Okay, that's helpful.
That will be one of the priorities for that day.
And I guess my last question is for Assistant City Manager Laura, since you're sitting up here with us, about staffing and capacity, because I'm recognizing that that's one of the big limitations to addressing the scale of calls. So where are we at with staffing of each of the scaling up staffing to meet the level of need?
Yeah, so that is a challenge. The PD Impact team is about 8 dedicated individuals to that team, but we're also reaching out to the patrol sections and through overtime, right? We're augmenting the PD Impact team. And as Brian indicated, we're in ramping that up. We do need to train individuals as they're participating in this PD Impact process because we do want to get it right. And so we're doing that. And yeah, so it's through overtime really that we're going to be expanding our capacity for
How about with the Department of Community Response? Because I know we've now had 2 pretty high-level positions vacate. I think there might be other vacancies. So where are we at with staffing up Department of Community Response?
Similarly, we are going to, yes, we did have Nick Galling recently resign and move on, and we wish him well. And we're going to be filling behind to fill that position. And our outreach teams we do have available, and then we have the contract through Hope Cooperative available, which we're leveraging as well.
Okay.
In order to have
So
some
we are
outreach
filling all of the
capacity.
vacancies in DCR?
We are filling particular vacancies, but the outreach teams, we're leveraging really our contracts with Hope Cooperative and other contracts that we have in place in order
So
to
we're
be
not
able to
filling
expand.
all of the vacancies in DCR?
Not exactly, no. We're number one, remember, we have a partnership agreement with the county, and we're standing up. We're still waiting on those 15 Cal AIM workers to be onboarded. They're Already, I think the recruitment is underway, and we're waiting for those to come online, and we're leveraging our contracts that we have as
Okay.
well.
Well, I guess I will just close them by saying, these are funded positions in the Department of Community Response in our budget that we've already approved. I don't know how on earth we can expect the teams to scale if DCR isn't fully staffed. So I know my direction would be that I would want to prioritize getting those positions filled so that they can be appropriately helping the teams respond and taking off some of that caseload when the other teams might not be necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Valenzuela. Mayor Pro Tem Vang.
Vice Mayor, thank you, Deputy Chief. I really appreciate the overview. Let me make sure my mic is turned on. Really appreciate the overview of our new incident commander model. I want to talk a little bit about the MOU and I was going to ask to pull up this map. As you know, we have the MOU with the county to really help ensure that we, one, scale up shelter and also be able to provide that mental health, behavioral health services, which is a key component if we're going to talk about addressing homelessness in the city. I want to have a better understanding of how the county is part of this model, and I see that the only time I see the county pop up is under the coordinated response under street wellness. And so my question to you first is, how do you determine, I think you shared this a little bit, but how do you determine the difference between the rapid response and the coordinated response? I'm curious to know why the county isn't part of the rapid response strategy.
So the county is the behavioral health component of this, and they are out every day spending time out in the field as well as with DCR. But that component of it is a long-term care and getting them into our coordinated access system to get them into services. And so that's what the rapid response is a rapid response, is to get if DCR can grab somebody out of that and say they want services, then it depends on what services they want. But so example, the rapid goes out, DCR makes contact with somebody that's willing to accept services. If they want shelter, then we have OEC or Miller Park to offer them. If they want more services than that, then that's when they get put into the coordinated access system so that they can go into services that are some counties, some private nonprofit. So that's like this thing is massive in components to it. And so this is only the one component of making contact with them in the street. And then if we get somebody that wants services, then
They would go to the coordinated response.
They go in. No, the coordinated response is just a larger response to the larger encampments. Mm-hmm. If somebody within those larger encampments wants services, then most of them, if they're already in our system, then they'll be put on a wait list to get access to behavioral health services or whatever services they want. So the county component, this is only the outreach piece of their behavioral health. There's, on the other side of the access is the rest of the county services. So it funnels through to a coordinated access point, funnels back out to all the services. We're to get them from the street to the coordinated access.
Thanks.
Councilmember,
Maybe Mario can answer a little bit.
If I may explain it too, recall when we adopted the protocols, there were 3 different main activities, right? There's outreach, there's cleanup, and there's compliance activities, right? The rapid response is geared and focused mainly on the compliance piece of things for smaller encampments where there's a clear violation of a city code. We do have DCR staff that's going out there with the rapid response team to try to get folks to accept placement like at Miller Park or OCC, where then the county behavioral health staff can engage with them and get them enrolled into services. We find that we have much better success rate getting folks enrolled into services if they're stabilized, if they're at a safe camping place where we can have multiple engagements with them, build up that trust, and then get them to accept services. That's kind of the model behind it. So we're doing 3 things essentially at the same time. We're doing outreach, camp management, as well as compliance activities all at the same time throughout the city.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the rapid response and the coordinated response and just making sure like that the county is involved. It sounds like almost even during the rapid response with the touches, the county is somewhat involved. If a person is saying, hey, I want services, then you send them to the coordinated response. Or
So these are two separate responses. The rapids are out there every day doing the quick touches. The coordinated is a large encampment that we're, say, next Tuesday, we're going to do a coordinated response on this large encampment, and then everybody's going out there. What is hard to separate on this simple graph is that street wellness site has been out there the whole time,
Okay.
working that encampment. And then when we do the coordinated, it's everybody else as well.
Thanks. Just a follow-up question, maybe this was probably for Mario. On the street wellness county outreach, do we know if the county has staffed up what we have expected through the MOU?
So we have 12 behavioral health staff from the counties that are out in the field currently, and I know the CalAIM, the 15 additional from CalAIM, they're being staffed up as we speak. They are not out in the field yet,
They're
but
currently
we're
not
hoping to
out in the
get there.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Those are all my questions.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem Vang. Let me go over to Councilmember Laloe, then we have Councilmember Maple and Councilmember Talamantes. Councilmember Laloe.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Chief, I have a few questions. On the 311 calls, who monitors those? Because I have heard and I've seen constituents where they call, they get a number, a file number, and then after a week or 2 weeks, it says the file is closed, it's been addressed, yet nothing has really happened. Is that a computer glitch or it's just an error or somebody punching in? Because that's something that's been happening. The frequency is increasing.
So, good question. We have, what has happened in the past is that someone will call at the corner of wherever. We'll respond out there, and nobody, when the call happened, somebody was there. When we got there, there was nobody who was there, and they'll close it. What we've done is I've had them open up, because it doesn't really give feedback to the public, just that it was closed. I've had them open up the public side and put in that we were here, this is what we saw or didn't see, or we were here, we made contact, and this is what happened. Because exactly that. All they're seeing is closed. That doesn't tell me anything, and they could have gone and came back in that period.
I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much. As far as the DCR team, I think losing Nick is a huge loss. I mean, he was phenomenal. So I don't know if he's listening to this or not, but I wish him nothing but the best. When we talk priority calls, I understand schools, sensitive structures. Pretty much these days, I think every call has been elevated to a priority call because, we see the issues. Is there a team that identifies which one we need to address right now, which one can wait, 16 days before we address it?
Yeah, and so that's what we do daily in our daily brief of determining what's priority for the day. All those calls are coming into the backside of Salesforce so we can look at it. So we prioritize for the day based on the best that we can with calls coming in. The multiple calls rise to the top just because it's not based on one person calling back 100 times. It's based on we're getting a volume of calls in that area. That will elevate that call. That will be a priority call. And then you have to look at these calls also in that it might be multiple calls within a geographical area, but really it's the same place. And we can tease that out, by looking at them if you plot the addresses of where the calls are coming from, it puts essentially a circle around the area that we need to respond to.
Thank you. And I guess this question will go to you, Mario. We signed an agreement between city and county that they're supposed to provide some services. Do we have any data on how many touches they've made and what the result of that has been? How many individuals have been moved out of an encampment, whether for medical needs or substance abuse needs, or simply they found housing? Do we have a number on that?
We have had challenges tracking the data by encampment. That is a challenge. We're working with the county on trying to figure that out. There are multiple programs that they have and multiple entryways to those programs, not just through our efforts and what we're doing. And that is part of the challenge that we're having in terms of how can we track it based on encampment. That's difficult to do. But we do have some data. We have data from DCR. We're tracking when the city county teams are going out, we're tracking the contacts that we're making, the engagements that we're making, and the referrals that we're making. It's getting the back-end data as to what were the outcomes of those contacts, engagements, and referrals is the challenging part, getting it back in. Because, for example, let's say we contact somebody that was living and housed on the streets. They moved into a Miller Park. Let's say they got enrolled into the HMI system and they got enrolled into a program. They might then move from that program to other services, but then we don't track them back to the encampment where they came from. And that's part of the challenge of saying that, well, it was that contact from that encampment that led to them being in that program, because it just doesn't track that. When we're working, there's a data team that's trying to figure out how we can better keep track of that, but it is a challenge.
Does county have any system that can come to you and say, hey, Mario, last month we were able to help and move 2 unhoused individuals, 5 went to and got their any medical assistance that they needed, 5 we were able to find shelter or housing. Do they keep any kind of data?
I think that would be the HMIS system that we're all using and all have access to. But again, the difficulty is linking it to the specific encampment that the person came from is the challenge. But yes, we have access to HMIS data, and they can give us like aggregate information, but it's parsing it out and trying to tie it to some of the activities that we're doing is part of the challenge.
Great. Yeah, I think that's the key thing, and I noticed Pro Temp brought in the fact that we don't see county too much mention on this chart. I see a lot of city entities being involved, but there are our partners in this, and they play a very, very important role, and that is not just behavioral health, but also substance abuse as well. So I would love to see, maybe a month or 2 months from now. I know that you all are fairly new to this particular program, but if we have a data that shows the county was actually able to, do A, B, and C, because we really don't know how much county's doing. I have a site in my district that's been there for almost 6 months, and I'm yet to see if the county has gone and provided services to those individuals. And I'm referring to Camp Resolution, and maybe we could use that as a model to see what the county is capable of doing. So I would appreciate if we can get some data or some information about the number of individuals that touching is one thing, talking is one thing, but how many individuals were actually taken out of that encampment and taken to somewhere to provide services? I think that's what I'm looking for, and I think I can speak on behalf of my colleagues that we're all kind of interested in what role county plays to help us with this situation.
I absolutely agree with you, and I have started meeting with the county and asking some of these same questions.
God bless you.
And getting some.
We haven't been able to do it for God knows how many years. Maybe you can, because we keep having meetings. But hey, maybe you're the savior, and I'll tell you that's it. Thank you.
I'll give it my best go.
Thank you, Councilmember Laloe. Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Well, first of all, I just want to say that I'm really excited. I think this is an important next step in our process as a city to be even more coordinated and to make sure that we're being as efficient as possible in our response and being good stewards of taxpayer dollars while we try our best to coordinate. And I think it's important to point out that this isn't homelessness as we know it, and the city is not static, right? We've seen a massive increase over the last several years, and that's due to a lot of different factors, including macro factors, economic factors, housing. It's not just the city of Sacramento. It's in cities all across California. It's in cities all across, the western United States, and certainly urban centers all across the United States of America. And so this is a problem that we're facing, and we're doing the best that we can with that. And I really appreciate that we're constantly being iterative, and we're making this process better as we go. It can be really easy to get frustrated. Trust me, I get frustrated all the time. I'm sure that is felt at times. But I know that we have a really hardworking team that is committed to compassion and doing this the right way. And so I just want to thank you for taking on this really difficult but important role in the city. Some things that I really appreciated about your presentation, one is I do like the 211 subcategories. So one of the things that I found even in my, helping my constituents navigate the process is that, there was pretty broad categories in terms of how do I report certain things. And so making sure that we break those down into subcategories is really helpful, not just for us in terms of being able to look at the data, but for our constituents to be able to say, okay, what is it that I'm actually trying to report here? Is it something's blocking a bike lane? Is it the sidewalk? Is it something else? And so I think that will be really helpful. The other thing that I appreciate is the public dashboard. So I really look forward to that coming to completion, because I think that's really going to help as my colleague, Mayor Pro Tem Vang, always says, sunshine is our friend. It really helps us. A lot of the calls that we get from our constituents are around, people are just looking for information. And sometimes that's really hard to get to them. And I know it's a big time suck on our staff. Every time we have to ask you, hey, can you send me the stats on this, or what's the status of this camp? So if people have an ability to look that up, I think it would probably save a lot of time for everyone involved and a lot of heartache. And so I do have a couple questions that came from this. So one of the things that you mentioned is, there's a whole process that's gone through, and then there is a determination at some point if a camp needs to be moved. And so I'm curious about, what does the notification process look like for that under our protocols? So if let's say it's, I don't know, name an encampment, the team has gone out there and it's been determined that this camp needs to be moved for one reason or another. Who gets notified when? What does that look like?
Right. So the large encampments that have been in place for quite a while, most of them are public health and safety violation. Just the fact that there is so much debris and excess garbage that it creates vectors, and it's a simple violation amongst all the other minor violations. So the larger encampments are notified, that 72-hour notification. Again, this is after weeks to months of our teams being out there, making contact, trying to get services provided for them. And then it comes to the point where we've tried and tried and tried, we've exhausted our efforts, and then it's going to go to cleanup. There are camps that are the larger encampments, I'd say medium-sized encampments, that can clean up their areas and are within code, then we're not moving them.
Right.
But the large encampments, most of them they're just a health hazard, and we'll move them and break them into smaller encampments is essentially what's going to happen with them. But at least they'll be cleaner, and we'll get smaller encampments that can stay within our code.
Great. And so I guess one personal direction I like to give, I don't know if my colleagues would agree with this or not, but one thing I think would be helpful for me is if it's something in one of our districts, if there is a way that we can be notified in advance, if that does occur. Hearing you that there's a lot of steps that go before that, and there's a lot of places where it can be stopped in the process because of compliance or people accepting services. But if it does occur, it'd be helpful for at least me, because I've certainly gotten calls from constituents, and then I say, I don't know. And then they're like, how do you not know?
Right.
And so that would be, I think, helpful for all of us. Just, I think, more information, the better, so that we can properly notify the community and so on. And then I guess I have a conceptual question. I like to think about things in tangibly. So just name an encampment. There's, on Broadway near the X Street Navigation Center, there's a camp that has been under the underpass for many months, and that sidewalk has been completely impassable for months. And I know that there's been teams that have gone out there. In fact, I did a ride-along with the city-county partnership team, so like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. I highly recommend it to see how it works on the ground and what kind of questions are being asked. But so for a situation like that, let's say, what does it look like? So let's say tomorrow, I'm assuming this is probably designated as a priority 1 camp. What are the steps in the process?
So that camp is very high on our list. And outreach has been out there multiple times. They will be notified. We'll do our coordinated on a Tuesday. They'll be notified the Friday before. And everybody in that encampment will have a bright fluorescent green sticker clearly stating that this encampment, this is their notice for this encampment, and the date that we will be there. And then we'll see you on Tuesday.
Okay, so that's really helpful. And then I know, again, just because I was out there, the focus is on compliance, and there's truly an effort to get people enrolled in services. And for a variety of reasons, folks don't want to accept certain services or might not be comfortable. And so that's a challenge that we have. And I know that goes to our sites that we have planned and in process. And I don't know if this might be a question for Assistant City Manager. So I know we all voted recently to put the city on a path to open up more sites for camping, safe parking, and so on. And so do you have a sense of when we can expect an update on that?
I don't have a timeline of when we're making any announcements, but I know we're working on, we have gone through the parcels, we've identified a few sites, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done before we can make any announcements as to which ones would be stood up, and I would defer to the city manager on determining a timeline and when he wants to make that announcement.
That's fair enough. We'll wait for City Manager Chan to return. And then this might be another question for you, Assistant City Manager. So I had a question that Councilmember Valenzuela had around hiring in DCR. You said leveraging HOPE, which, by the way, I went along with some of the HOPE cooperative workers during my ride-along, and they're wonderful. They did some really great work, and I was impressed with the level of knowledge and how well they really knew every single person that they were talking with. I obviously had talked with them many times. But when you say leveraging HOPE, does that mean that we are, instead of hiring for these positions, we are using contractors instead? Or do we plan to hire all of these positions that we already have budgeted and continuing to use HOPE?
We have both, right? We have both the HOPE contract and we have these positions, but it's a lot more, it's quicker to onboard folks through our contracts than it is through our other mechanisms. So that's why we're using the contracts quite a bit to leverage our capability quickly. It does not mean that we're not going to fill these positions. We are currently engaged with a free consultant project that's helping us to look at our organization to figure out if we need to do some updates on our job descriptions to better. When we stood up DCR, we did it very fast. And I think that's part of the reason why we're having some challenges, right? And I think we have a unique opportunity right now to leverage some contracts and look at our organizational structure and be able to figure out, okay, do we need to do some updates here so that we can be poised? We talk a lot about the original intent of DCR being alternative 911 response. And I think that's part of the study that we're engaged in right now to figure out, is there a better way to reorganize and do that? The intent is to eventually be able to get there.
Okay, a broader organizational outlook. So that's really helpful too for me. And I just, as a statement, want to say that in general, I think working with our contracts, a lot of these organizations are amazing and they do great work, and I support them. But whenever possible, we want to make sure that we're hiring and retaining our city workers and having them do that work for our city as well. And so I think it's really important to note that we're not supplanting those jobs that could be our city workers, union jobs for contractors that are likely not union and may or may not be paid a living wage. Okay, those are my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Maple. Mayor Pro Tem Vang. Oh, wait. Oh, Councilmember Talamantes. Somehow we lost you there. So let me go to Councilmember Talamantes. Then we'll have a cleanup question for Mayor Pro Tem Vang. Councilmember Talamantes.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Brian Pedro, thank you for taking this on. I think you will be up on that podium very frequently here at the city of Sacramento. So I do think that your background makes you uniquely qualified to help lead us on this incident command model. So for the people that didn't attend the State of the City by the mayor, can you just tell us about your background so that the general public can know more about you and what qualifies you to do this?
Sure. Let's start with, I am a fellow Latino. So let's not get it twisted that there's not a brown person in charge of what's happening out here in the streets. I've been 28 years with the fire department. I have been a nurse for 28 years as well, dual hatting. I am in my 39th year of service in the United States Air Force. I'm a lieutenant colonel and a deputy commander of a medical unit that has essentially 2 units. One is our MASH unit, our field hospital unit, takes care of our injured soldiers and also runs humanitarian missions. The other component of that is providing transport and patient care and staging. I have been in the service industry my entire life, starting from working in a nursing home at 15 years old. Everybody that I'm working with, DCR and Hope Cooperative, and everybody that's out in the field are doing excellent work. There is no doubt that we are not trying to help people out there. But there's a balance that comes with that. And I'm a compassionate person. I care for people very much. But we also have to remember that all of us have a responsibility to the city to be within code. If I park without feeding the meter, I'm going to get a ticket. So there is some self-responsibility as well. So it's a balance of taking care of doing the best that we can to provide services and balance that with providing some enforcement.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. I thought it was important for Sacramento Now, whoever's watching at home. If we've seen anything over the course of the year, it's that coordination and communication is an area that we as a city of Sacramento can continue working on, that need to work on. We need to improve that in addressing our homeless humanitarian crisis. You know, this issue impacts all of us, the entire city of Sacramento and just the Sacramento region, but more specifically us. And we need to get our house in order so that we collect the appropriate information, so that we utilize our resources, and so that we can also hold others accountable. You know, when it comes to the city, we have a $1.5 billion budget. Meanwhile, our county partners have a little bit over $8 billion. And we need help, and we need to continue getting those resources from them. And I look forward to having you at the table to help us achieve that. Like Councilmember Lilly said, you're coming in at the right time, and I'm really excited for your leadership. Seeing that, you know, it takes 16 days to respond to 311, it worries me, but I also appreciate your honesty on the data. Because I can say that, and I think I can speak for all of us up here, that we feel the pressure to take action now. We get the calls, we get the texts, we get the messages, we get the emails, and we want to respond immediately to all our constituent concerns. But if you look at the data, look in our manpower, it just doesn't add up. And the most important thing for us as a city is just to be honest with where we're at and what we're doing. But most importantly, like authorizing more staffing, which we have, to hire up. So to our assistant city manager, Mario and Howard, like, let's fill those DCR vacancies as soon as possible, because we need to be the best customer service agency Sacramento has seen, which means being fully staffed and giving our employees the resources and equipment they need to be able to be successful in their jobs. And as Councilmember Lilly said, I was also concerned to hear from neighbors that cases are closed out on 311. My team, Eduardo and Kayla, are always calling 311, always putting in requests for our constituents that don't have access to a phone or don't know how to do it. And sometimes they see the result and it just says case closed. And no one ever finds out who, what, where, when. Like what happened that case closed. And having a description of like who went out, I think is going to be really important for communication and just for the city. So just curious for Brian or for Mario. So from your perspective, how, and I know this is the mayor's idea and Howard and just, I think we're all on board here on this, but how do you see this system improving the quality of interactions that we have with our community?
I think some of the things that were mentioned, I do agree with you that the 311 system, we do need to work with our partners there to improve communication back to constituents who are putting in requests for services. And I think we have come up with some scripts and some standardization of things that we can include to better communicate rather than just closed out. And I think there's a lot of work they're going to be doing there. We talked about the dashboard in terms of trying to get the message out, trying to communicate. I think just the organization, right? Just a better organization of things, I think will help us to be a little bit more efficient and leverage the limited staffing capacity and capability that we have to stretch it a lot further. I mean, those are the main areas really that I see. And I think just giving it, the main thing, I think, Brian, we talk about this a lot, is we as frustrating as the 311 system is, it really is the best way to funnel everything through that, so that, and we need to give that some time and process to be able for us to do it, because whenever we get the one-offs, I mean, it does consume a lot of time and resources trying to track that down and trying to get ahead of that, and it is a bit difficult keeping up with that, as well as trying to stick to the plan that was already set in the beginning of the day or the beginning of the week. So I think, you know, if we can give that a chance, I think that would help incredibly.
Thank you, Mario. And, you know, and that's where, like, working with our contractors, to me, it's better to have our DCR employees instead of contractors, because we can have that direct relationship, be able to reach out, and there's just more accountability when it comes to our employees, and more transparency. So I hope that doesn't fall through the cracks. So with our new model, I know 211 is something that we also urge people to call for homelessness. And then for the non-emergency police line relating to issues on homelessness, sometimes people call, whether it's open air drug dealing or things that they see. How will that interface with this new model?
It's funny, we actually have a meeting with some folks who are responsible for the 988 system as well. You didn't mention that, but we are also thinking about that as well and how that's going to get integrated. 211 is obviously that's the access services and maybe not so much through this IMT system, but you know, just the relationships that we have with the county, for example, we're hoping that will expand, and then
But you can call 211 from, like, DCR can call 211
yes.
for an individual. Yeah. The separation of what you're talking about on those calls, they're redirected. And those calls where people call in and say, hey, there's somebody doing something illegal in front of my house, it has to be, like, witnessed. It can't be like a phone call is we're going to immediately go over there and arrest somebody. That's what's happening at that time, and so we'll respond accordingly. But it's still, it's when we get out there, if that's not the case, then you can't do anything about that. But we're working on separate. I'm working with everybody to try and organize this thing. Believe me, I have been working
I
long
know
shifts.
you've done a lot of research. I had an opportunity
This
to
thing and get everybody and chasing down some of that stuff like Councilmember Lowy's talking about, like getting that data. That is a missing piece. We are doing the outreach, but we're lost on, like, is this even being effective? Is the county being effective with the services they're providing? That's that piece that we need to look at and determine. We need to shift our model if it's not working.
Right. Well, thank you. And just two more comments. I am encouraged by a lot of what you've told us today. Your leadership, the different departments that you're going to be working with, that communication is important, and that's what we got to focus on building a better system instead of just pointing at what we're doing wrong. Let's correct that, and we can do better, and that means communication and reporting in order to succeed in helping address our homeless crisis, but also just in getting back to our constituency in a timely manner. So thank you.
I'll do my best.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Talamantes. I do want to do a time check for staff, for our team here at 7:54, and we still have a full council chambers of public workers here. Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Vang.
That's a disclaimer of speak really fast, Councilmember Vang, so I will keep this really fast. So I just want to first say, our city staff's work does not go unnoticed. Deputy Chief Pedro, I just want to say thank you so much for the overview for this. And I just want to echo my colleagues, and I want to emphasize this, right? Councilwoman Maple, Valenzuela, and Talamantes mentioned this, and also Councilmember Lowell, is that we really do need to ensure that we got a staff up DCR. And if we want our new incident model to be successful, right, DCR is a big component of that success. And it's going to be so important to make sure that we scale that up. I just want to remind folks, every time we talk about homelessness, it is a huge issue, right? And we're all trying our very best to really address this complex issue. But for every one person we house, 3 more becomes unhoused, right? And so while we are working tirelessly day in and day out to scale up shelters, to address what's happening in our encampments. We're trying to build more housing, although not fast enough. We're not going to be able to catch up, right? And so I just want to kind of put that in context of like the huge crisis that we have on our streets, and that while we're doing everything that we can, the issue has just grown, right? It's not that the city hasn't hustled, right, with our heart, our passion, the tools that we have. And so just want to share that again. I also just want to make a request. I know that right now we have 2x4s, right? 2 of the county supervisor with 4 of our council members. And I like to make a request because we often talk about the MOU. Sometimes we get county staff that shares a little bit about what's happening on their end. And I often hear my colleagues asking more questions about what's really happening on the county side. So I like to make a request. I know the mayor's not here today. I didn't ask the mayor about this, so I'm just going to ask it publicly. But I like to make a request that we hold a joint city and county meeting to discuss the status on our MOU. I want to know what is working, what is not working, how can we continue to work with each other, and at the same time hold each other accountable to the MOU to really address this complex issue. And I just want to ask our city attorney, is that possible? When I was on the board at Sac City Unified School District, we held a joint meeting with the city council, and we were able to talk about joint use agreement and whatnot. I think that we're, past almost 6 months into this MOU, right? This crisis has just gone worse, and it's really important that we get our city and our county electeds in one room publicly for transparency to really talk about the status on the MOU and what we're going to do collectively to address homelessness in this region. And so wanted to make the ask if that's possible, and would love for us to work for the city clerk and the county folks to get together and figure out how we can notice this meeting and get all the electeds in one room publicly to have a conversation about how we're going to address this.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Vang. Okay, thank you very much. Seeing no more council members. Assistant Chief Pedro, thank you very much. Appreciate all your work here. You've got a lot of work ahead, and this is not the first time that you will be here. Very much. This is receive and file. Madam Clerk, next item on the agenda here.
So Vice Mayor, you moved to council comments, ideas, questions, and AB 123 reports.
Okay, members of the council, do we have any comments that are AB 123 reports or council comments? Yeah, we'll move them afterwards then. Yeah, we'll go ahead and move that item afterwards. Madam Clerk, let's move on to comments from the public.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So public comments for matters not on the agenda. I have 18 speakers. The first is Yana Mandugana, Charles Faust, Sabra Abanja. Please feel free to line up in the aisle. I bet some people have left. So
I apologize
Yana,
if we butcher your name here.
So Yana, Charles, then Sarah.
Sure. Love that. Okay.
As the clerk mentioned, if you could line up as we announce your name so we can make sure we get everyone here before the midnight.
Right, so after Yana is Charles and Sarah Bornga, then Ferris. Please proceed. Please proceed.
Is there time?
As soon as you start, yes.
Okay, this is so difficult for me to speak about. I didn't expect so many people to be in the room, but I have been placed on more 5150 holds than anyone I know, and I've never wanted to hurt myself or anyone else, which is what they're intended for. So if it were not for me not having to work for money, I would be homeless. I would be on the street. I don't know how I would provide for myself if I didn't receive unearned income. So all of that is documented by medical professionals. I've never wanted to hurt myself or anyone else. However, 5150 holds are in place. They are intended to help people who may be suicidal or homicidal. So this month is suicide prevention. If used correctly, they could prevent mass murder. They're not supposed to be used to discriminate against anyone for being different or as punishment for any alleged crimes because they offer no due process. On Friday, just last week, I was finally able to read 4 reports from 2010. It took that long. So their content is disturbing, to say the least. The reports take my estranged husband's accusations as gospel, while my statements are entirely omitted in some cases. People who are considered mentally ill deserve to have a voice, at the very least, especially when everything is about them in that situation. Even if we believe in the prevention of suicide, that cannot excuse overzealous police officers who act like thought police and invent suicidal or homicidal ideations where none exists, just to remove people where they don't think they should be. By far, the most egregious violation of my civil rights was reported by Officer Colette Champerino. Not only did the Sac PD cocoon me with a 5150 hold, that's where the resident or owner of a property is removed from their own home. She also covered up domestic abuse, physical domestic abuse that I experienced.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Charles is our next speaker. I just wanted to remind everyone they have 2 minutes to address the council, and the timer is way in the top corner.
Little timer.
Sorry, my new little timer. Charles?
I have a lot of stuff to say about 10 hose thing earlier, but I only have 2 minutes. A couple things. If you guys are looking for data, weird specific stuff, your neighborhood associations know a lot of that stuff. Your PBIDs know a lot of that stuff. They go around and count. I know because I talk to a lot of them. So if you're looking for like movement of camps and stuff like that, a lot of them know that stuff. Hope for Sacramento. We're looking at a couple buildings and lots in your district that we're looking at leasing or purchasing over the next couple months and maybe trying to get homeless shelters going there. Please get in contact with Hope for Sacramento. We've been working on this for a while. So get in contact with us. I've contacted your office a few times. No one contacts me back. So that's a couple things. That's probably good enough.
Thank you for your comments. Sarah Bonga. Following Sarah is Ferris Abuita.
Hello, my name is Sarah Borga. I was here in May, the end of May, and the very next day I came in here to complain about Clara Studio for the Performing Arts, about racial and discrimination. And the very next day I got a 30 days notice to leave the place. I've been working the location for 8 years. And I came in here today because I wanted to point it out that I didn't know that I was discriminated against until that particular day that I come in here to the council member to talk about the issues that was happening in there and continuously happening. I wanted to thank the city of Sacramento very much for the bottom of my heart for getting in contact with the Sacramento Art Commissioner, somebody in there is actually helping the Brazilian Center to trying to find a location, a suitable place for the Brazilian Center to function. During this time, we have been unable to do fundraiser or anything. We do the Brazilian Carnival Sacramento, what we bring 3,500 to 4,000 people to the Clara Studio. We are unable to raise funds at this point because people no longer feel comfortable to come into their location. But it's bittersweet. I wanted to thank very much for passing the voice and have somebody out there helping the Brazilian Center to find a home. but that didn't prevent Clara for suing us. They suing us and want to ask the leave in the 30th of September. They can't allow the city to give us the time to find a suitable home. So if you can intervene, please do so, because, this is totally unfair. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. The next speaker is Ferris, and then Paul Nathan Phillips.
Hello, my name is Ferris Apoeta. I am a UC Davis graduate, and I am currently working as a law clerk for Mr. Phillips here. I'm here today because I wanted to give out some information I've helped gather for the case at hand. And one of the very first things I have done for the center was take inventory of all the improvements made to the center since Sarah has taken a hold of the property about 17 years ago. She used her own money to make over 70 improvements to the building for the way it looks, inside and out, maintenance, such as plumbing and electrical. All of this for the chance that she will be evicted, and the operating company suing her refuses to compensate her in any way after eviction. Over here, I have over 200 signatures hoping to assist the Brazilian Center keep its doors open. And I do believe that is very important because, as Talamantes says, the Latino community holds a huge importance to the city of Sacramento. And ever since I started working on this project with Mr. Phillips, I have grown to love the people that managed and take care of the Brazilian Center as well as its practices. And Mr. Guar, as I agree with you, as you said earlier, that a dance at a council meeting alone doesn't do the Latino community justice. So I hope that I'm here to in hopes that that there's some assistance in the city council, and hope you all take care.
Thank you for your comments. Paul Nathan Phillips, then Ivan Lee.
Well, good evening, Vice Mayor and members of the City Council. Appreciate you having me here this evening. My name is Paul Nathan Phillips, attorney, and I am here to celebrate and support Hispanic Heritage Month, and specifically a wonderful part of our community as part of that Hispanic heritage, the Brazilian Center. As has been stated, on May 31st of this year, the operating company for Clara served a 30-day notice on them to vacate. That occurred the day after they appeared here to complain about discriminatory practices and being cut out of certain programs and not receiving the funding that we believe that they should have received. Sarah spent all of her own money rehabbing that old cafeteria center, and now the operating group wants to evict them and take everything that she worked so hard to do without compensation. So I hope that I can provide some guidance and some information to the council today. The end of July, we asked for a move-out date of December 31st to allow reasonable time to locate suitable new premises, improve those premises for BCCE's needs, and relocate. The operating company refused, terminated negotiations, and filed an eviction complaint. I filed a challenge and requested the master sublease with the city of Sacramento that is still not provided, and I need for my preparation of the defense of this case. On yesterday, they were fast-tracked. It was denied to me, and an unlawful detainer is proceeding. Now, I have filed a complaint against the operating company. We have no beef with the city, and we are asking that the city attorney take a look at this and possibly join us as an
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete. Our next speaker is Ivan Lee. Following Mr.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ivan Lee, then Megan McKay, then Jeff Garber.
Good evening, council members. My name is Ivan Lee. I'm a lead worker in the Department of Drainage. I've been employed with the City of Sacramento for 25 years. I'm also on the Recruitment Engagement Committee, subcommittee, which is part of the RGEAP initiative with the City of Sacramento. Since 2002, I've had to endure unforeseen family circumstances, such as my wife's current disease. I have depended on adult children and family members to stay with my wife while I had to work. I have been diligent in keeping the citizens of the City of Sacramento safe. That is just one of the sacrifices that I have made. As essential workers, we've shown up time and time again with our boots on the ground. We put in additional work during the storms, responding to customer complaints for trees that were down, blocking our roadways, and drains that were flooding our streets. According to our customers, city workers went the extra mile to protect our community, especially our elderly population, from flooding in their homes using sandbags and visqueen. We are here to protect the city and its customers. We have been true warriors. We have been true warriors when it was time to defend the city from the storms that caused flooding, downed trees, and broken glass mains. We showed up regardless to what was going on with our families. During the height of the pandemic, many of us had to collect water samples from sewer pipes and drain pipes, which could possibly have COVID, and constantly exposing ourselves to the virus.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete.
Ooh.
Megan McKay, then Jeff Garber.
So read fast. All right. Good evening, guys. I'm Megan McKay. I'm here with the Department of Utilities, Water Distribution, and Local 447. First off, I would like to thank you for this opportunity for us to come and talk about how we're feeling tonight. I've been a service worker for the city for 5 years, but employed by utilities for 7. I have never worked with such an engaged, helpful, loyal, hardworking group of people in my life. The camaraderie I've experienced in my time with the city is unparalleled. The work we accomplish for the public is often extreme and unpleasant. Day or night, freezing temps, heavy rains, extreme heat, thick smoke, and yes, even the pesky virus never stopped us, slowed us down. We were made to show up day after day while the rest of the world and many parts of the city stopped in its tracks, showed up daily to provide essential service to the residents of Sacramento, which we were all more than happy to do, while a large portion of our supporting staff got to bring their computers home and work from their cozy, safe living rooms. In this time, we were told we had to wear masks all the time in the heat with our safety glasses fogging up while we were cutting ductile iron pipe with a 35-pound saw, with boots sucked into the mud to our ankles, with earplugs in a 5-foot hole wedged between 2 other utilities, where most of our communication is through reading lips. But we were told that the masks were for safety. I digress. Meanwhile, feeling like we were easily replaceable if we argued any sense whatsoever, having our photos taken and threatened as we pulled our masks down to converse or just get some fresh air, we take mandatory on-call for $30 a day, often working through the night just to show up the next morning for our scheduled shift. To tell me anyone can do this job is unfair and it's biased. Meanwhile, we hear about money being allocated for the essential workers of the city, yet we feel as though we were looked over. We are the backbone of the city. We have taken a beating since 2020, and year after year.
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete, Megan. Jeff Garber, then Crystal Trejo Soto.
City Council, I thank you for your time. This past winter, our city has experienced unprecedented winds and torrential rainfall. During one storm event in North Sacramento, Truxell Road was completely flooded. Manhole covers were floating down the road, and the area received over 160 calls to dispatch in 1 hour. The adjacent neighborhood was flooded as well. Water was coming into cars, moving up driveways, and moving towards houses. I located this up and I found 3 of the 5 gates were working and open. We quickly fixed the issue and had all 5 pumps pumping to capacity, and the flooding water was alleviated within 30 minutes. The water subsided. I know I have to respond in my job to clear the pathway with urgency, and we understand this urgency. If roads are flooded, a pregnant woman in labor cannot make it to the hospital. This is how our children are born. Our grandparents, our spouses, and our children cannot make it as well. And our police and our firefighters and our first responders, they cannot respond and complete their calls. City Council, we, your Utilities Department, we're grateful to be civil servants, to serve the citizens of the City of Sacramento. And I ask you, City Council, to act with the same urgency to break the cycle of your workforce working out of contract year after year. I plead with you to value the services and your workforce so that, Lord willing, we can continue to break the cycle and we can continue to serve the citizens of the City of Sacramento. I thank you for your time.
Then Dominic Patria.
Hello, my name is Crystal Trejo Soto, a lead worker in wastewater. I've been a city employee for approximately 8 years now. I took part in the student program and started my career as an apprentice soon after. Since then, I worked my way up the ladder. I work primarily in the combined sewer and storm system and specialize in the CCTV section of wastewater. I'm very grateful for my career and the talented people I work with. My favorite part about my career is getting to help the community from which I came from. During the major rain events, the pandemic, wildfires, and civil unrest, I continue to come to work every day to pick up the pieces and assist in whatever way I could, knowing I'd be exposing myself to danger and unsure of what the days would hold. When the pandemic first hit and everyone was sent home, as a first responder at the time, I was one of the first to be called back to work. I did not complain. I took pride in being able to offer my service. Not only did I do that, when asked to go to swing shift, I said yes, knowing I'd have less opportunity to spend time with my family. We needed to be dynamic to continue to provide excellent service to our customers, and I knew it would be an adjustment for my family, especially my daughter. I knew she'd be safe, and I can assist those who needed me while providing a better life for her. The record-breaking rain events were usually during the same time we had major COVID outbreaks. I worked primarily in Area D, which is from 99 to 65th Avenue. I ensured the roads were clear of debris and flooding for emergency services. I was supposed to be safe against COVID, but unfortunately had complications, having landed myself in the emergency room one night during our continuous 12-hour shifts. I was one of many who contracted COVID during these hard times. The sad part is after all of our hard work, we returned to see our hard-earned overtime revoked due to our illnesses. I have put this community before myself and my family time and time again. We at the Department of Utilities put our lives on the line every day to ensure the community is safe, streets are dry, and that everyone has clean running water, not only during rain events and COVID outbreaks, but on a daily basis. We are the constant eyes on the ground. I love my career because I was...
comments. Your time is complete. Dominic and then Ramazan Suma.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council and the audience. My name is Dominic Petrella. I'm an operations and maintenance lead worker in our city's Department of Utilities Water Distribution Division. 447 member, of course, and proud brother of the massive group of men and women behind me sharing in the wearing of this City of Sacramento safety vest. Safety is key to us as employees and the city as well, but as of now, we as a whole are not feeling all that safe. This amazing group is solely responsible for keeping the city safe by providing the vital services necessary to keep this community, the capital city of this state, safe and healthy. We make sure there is safe, clean drinking water delivered to every customer's tap. We make sure that all waste is removed from every property and all properties are safe from flooding during storm events. All of that, we handle that. As we work tirelessly day in and day out under every city requirement and whatever the condition, hot, cold, stormy, windy, and so on, we make happen all that is necessary and more to keep the city's infrastructure operating at its highest level. We know that we are appreciated for our work, but we are not being properly compensated for it, especially for the level of service that we provide to these customers. For our safety and our family's safety, we need more. We should not be paying for the work we do. We are responsible to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to remedy every issue that any customer may have at any time. Day by day, it costs more to get to and from work. It costs more to provide food to our families. It costs more to provide health care to our families. It costs more to make happen what needs to happen in any given family's day. And for too many years, we've been behind in our contract. For too many years, we fought for a chance to become even and given peanuts. Maybe equivalent to a COLA, maybe, but not quite. For too many years, we've been given a small settlement to keep us working. This group needs to be compensated fairly, just to be on par with life, let alone on par with other public agencies doing our same work for not the capital city of the state. Safety is key as...
Thank you for your comments. Your time is complete.
Thank you.
Ramazan and Amy Russell.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. My name is Ramazan Suma. I work for the Water Distribution Section of the Department of Utilities. I've been with the city for nearly 12 years, and I'm also a Marine Corps veteran. I completed my enlistment as a sergeant, and while I was enlisted, I was taught that mission came first. Yes, morale is important, but mission always comes first, just like here. Our mission is to provide top quality service to our customers, make sure that the water is always on, the storm drains are clean, and the wastewater is going down the drains. Working through the rainstorm and around the clock, working on those 100-degree days when nobody wants to be outside. 100 days when no one wants to be outside and those freezing nights. Never missing a day through the COVID pandemic in order to complete the mission. But in order to complete the mission, the troops need to be taken care of. Your troops being the men and women on the ground doing the work every day. In the Marine Corps, the unspoken rule was troops always ate first. The officers and the higher-ups ate last and sometimes went without to make sure the troops had what they needed to complete the mission. I am here tonight to ask you to make sure that you take care of your frontline troops, the city workers, first. Thank you.
Amy Russell, then Tom Ayton.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Amy Russell. I'm married to Joseph Sutterfield, one of the City of Sacramento utility workers. My intentions are to bring a different viewpoint to light as the spouse of a city worker and all the sacrifices they make while still taking care of their families, but also taking care of this beautiful city a lot of you guys call home. And that is exactly what the City of Sacramento utilities worker do day and night. As first responders myself, I know the struggles, long hours, and putting community safety first. We all struggled through the pandemic, and they were essential. They kept the city running and making sure the residents were still the #1 priority. I'd really like to touch on the behind the scenes of what these employees do the majority of people will never see. Through the rain and shine, floods, and other emergencies, they are the first to respond. This winter was definitely one to go down in history. We happen to live next to Consumnes River, where the levees broke. We had 19 days of evacuation orders, then stay-in-place orders back to back that changed by the hour. I was home alone with our 2 daughters, scared of what I was going to do. My spouse was putting the residents of Sacramento first and working 12-hour shifts to maintain the safety of the city, the residents, and their property first, along with the rest of the utility workers. I had no cell service as large trees were crashing down on my home, live power poles falling on our house. I couldn't even call 911 because the lines were busy for hours upon hours. In the back of my head, I couldn't stop worrying about whether my husband and his co-workers were safe during all of this. But I had no way of communicating with him since there was no cell phone service. And he had no way of finding out whether his family was safe. This is the devotion, dedication, and dependability these employees offer the great city of Sacramento. The calls they get at all times of the night to take care of an issue for a resident, whether it's a major issue or a resident that just wants their leaves cleaned from a storm drain, they pull themselves out of bed no matter what time it is and get the job done. Even after 8 years of being the spouse, the worrying does not get much easier. But I can say one thing, this community and residents that resides here are very fortunate to have the strong allegiance of the City of Sacramento utility workers.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and City Council members. My name is Tom Ayton, a 29-year member of Local 447 and the current business rep for the members of the Department of Utilities who are before you tonight. You have heard from a handful of them this evening, and most, if not all, have explained how they feel they are underappreciated but continue to show their loyalty to this city. I've done quite a bit of research that indicates these individuals are significantly behind the rate of inflation and have not been appreciated for the services they are providing. In the early 2000s, it was not uncommon for this unit to receive a multi-year contract with 4 to 5% increases given each year. Then it struggled through the recession just like everyone else, and since that time it seems like it has been all but forgotten about. There were no salary adjustments given to this unit between June 2010 to November 2014. From 2014 on, this unit has only received one contract with the term over 2 years, and our last contract given was 3.5% over 2 years. That equates to 1.75% through each year of the pandemic. With this said, we feel this unit deserves a bit more respect for its efforts on keeping the city's infrastructure intact. When we talk about public safety, no one thinks about the Department of Utilities, but instead only of police and fire. The only thing that separates us from a third world country is clean drinking water and a sanitary sewer system that helps maintain the health of our community. Tonight, I stand before you to respectfully ask that you recognize these individuals from your Department of Utilities, understand that they all care about this city in their own ways and are looking to continue to keep the main infrastructure of this city maintained and operational for years to come. We are asking the city to offer our unit a fair and equitable contract that addresses wage disparities and inequities of the past. Moving forward, we feel that this is a reasonable expectation that the city begin negotiations on time and in good faith. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your comments. Vice Mayor, I have some speakers I believe have left. Calvary Christian Center, Angela, Margaret, and Natalie.
Yeah, they've left.
And then MVW and O have also left. Before you, so I have no members of the public left to speak. Just want to remind members of the audience, if you do need parking validation, you can get those from Jacob before you leave.
Great, thank you very much. So for members of the public, this concludes our public meeting. We have council comments left. I will say probably on the behalf of the council that while only 16 people spoke tonight, there are well over that, this chamber full, and I recognize the solidarity of those who came here and decided not to speak, but to support those who did speak. With that, I appreciate everyone's time here, and as we are finishing up some final items, you're welcome to stay, but if you do decide to leave, we ask that you just keep your voices down so that we can finish off the night tonight. With that, thank you all, and personally for being out here today for the public comment. Okay, Madam Clerk, let's give a little bit of time here, and then we've got council comments, questions, and AB 1, 2, 3, 4 reports. Sorry.
We wanted to comment before they left, but you excused them all.
Sorry.
They're all like, thank you, let us. They're like, okay, thanks, bye.
I was just looking at that one, that little girl.
I know, but I think several of us wanted to comment to them as well.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I said to everybody, I was like,
Can we begin now while some of them are still here?
Go ahead. Let me start off here. Councilmember Valenzuela.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And to those who haven't left yet, I just told the Vice Mayor he shouldn't have excused everybody first because I punched up to speak to you all. So thank you for staying in the room this long time. I did not recognize you without your hat. You need to start carrying it with you because I was like, who is that man? But I just want to say thank you again for staying for the whole meeting to give your comments. Those comments were incredibly powerful. They did not fall on deaf ears. I think you have a lot of us who not only appreciate but recognize that appreciation only goes so far. So with that, I'd like to request formally the city manager's team to bring an update on Local 447's contract negotiation to our closed session next Tuesday. Thank you.
And that's on behalf of all of us, too.
All of us, yeah.
I think
Lots of us, everybody left.
Councilmember Talamantes.
I had the opportunity of attending the study mission with the Metro Chamber to study art, culture, and diversity in Toronto. It was great to bond with our city economic development staff to learn about how other cities are addressing some of the same crises and issues that we're facing. And it was a great experience with Councilmember Maple. Other than that, that's about it.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Talamantes. Councilmember Maple.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Wanted to also do an AB 1234 report. Joined Councilmember Talamantes on the study mission to Toronto. Did so as one of the 10 most livable cities in the world. So it was, we were there to help learn from what they're doing in Toronto, maybe have some things that we can apply here in Sacramento. Especially one of the things that I noticed the most is that they have embraced density. They have lots and lots of housing that they're building absolutely everywhere, and it goes sky high all over the city. So just something to think about as we look at our future. Also really just want to thank all of our city staff that joined us. The city of Sacramento shows up. I just want to say that. We had Mario Lara there, we had Tina Levo, Megan Van Voorhees, Brian Pedro is there. Am I missing anybody? And Lynette Hall. So we had a really good crew, and I thought we just had so many opportunities to talk to one another and share, and so I think that's important to know. And then also wanted to share that we will be having our very first listening session in partnership with La Familia tomorrow evening, starting at 5:30 p.m. That's located at the Maple Neighborhood Center on 24th Ave, and that's just an opportunity for folks to come and speak to us, learn what we're doing through DCR and code, and also come speak to us and tell us what is important to them. So really looking forward to that, and I thank La Familia for the partnership. And then last note is the Oak Park Community Center. They're doing their Hotspot Carnival at this Friday night, starting at 6:30 p.m. It's gonna be really fun. We're gonna have games, we're gonna have prizes, and lots of opportunities for young people to have a good time. So join us at the Oak Park Community Center on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Maple. Let's go to Councilmember Kaplan.
Thank you. Just as a reminder, tomorrow we are having our Westlake Food Truck Mania, and this one's a little different. We're going to have wine, food trucks, music, but we'll also, our North Natomas Transportation Management Association, JIBE, is partnering with Streets for People. So want people to come out and give their input on what that means. This will be their only North Natomas meeting. And then on the 23rd, our farmers market continues. We extended it 2 weeks at the request of vendors, and then mark September 30th. It is our last farmers market, but we are also partnering for the second outfit outlet, which was first brought up by, I think it was called the Pink Posse, from our Summer at City Hall interns. They will be at the farmers market with us on September 30th. And then if you haven't had enough fun at the farmers market, on September 30th, purchase your tickets from 2 to 5 p.m. is the Oktoberfest that's going to be held at Westlake Park, and it's part of our City of Festival grant winner. So come out and enjoy some beer and cider tasting.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Kaplan. Cider tasting it is. Councilmember Laloy.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Really excited about an event coming up September 22nd. That's this Friday. It's a hands-on union trade awareness career fair. It's going to be held at 1689 Arden Way and Arden Fair Mall near the former Sears lot. We have 28 construction union affiliates, UC Davis. There's going to be hands-on machine demos. Obviously, food for everyone, music, family resources, prize, and lots of celebrations. So I hope to see a lot of you out there. Very excited about this event, and looking forward to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Laloy. Councilmember Jennings.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The South Sacramento Parkway Trail West ribbon cutting is taking place. It's a connection that allows people walking or biking from Meadowview neighborhood to the South Sacramento River Parkway, including Garcia Bend Park. And I just want you to imagine for a second walking or rolling to all of the park events, movie nights, jazz, and much, much more, all the food trucks, everything. So we want you to join us for the ribbon cutting ceremony on Friday, September the 29th at 9 a.m. Zeeburg Park meet and greet. There's an opportunity to join us at Zeeburg Park in District 7 next Saturday, September the 30th at 10 for a friendly meet and greet session. Join the entire D7 team. We'll get a chance to meet all the neighbors in the community and come on out and talk about getting to know each other better, what kind of issues that matter the most. And there will be coffee and donuts there, so come out, say hello, grab a donut, get some coffee, and get to see everybody. So come on out. And then the Elks Lodge Weekly Farmers Market. I've been talking about that every week, and we've been letting you know that it's happening every week. It's every Saturday from 8 to 1 p.m., and you can explore the diverse selection of fresh, organic produce, delightful bakery treats, vibrant flowers, candles, local honey, and much, much more. It's right at the Elks Lodge on Riverside and Florin Road, and you don't want to miss it. And you can bring your pets. It's a pet-friendly event. So that's all of my announcements. You can visit our media pages for any more information that you may not have heard me say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Jennings. And also, I would like to, thank all our city employees who came out tonight and stayed the duration of 3.5 hours plus, some of them who've been out here all day as well with their early council meetings, and giving it all they got for the city in difficult times and when everyone needs them the most. First one event to bring up, our monthly office hours in Tahoe Park. Is our food trucks event. We have also, we bring out and support all kinds of vendors and also our neighborhood associations. But this food truck event on Friday at 5 o'clock ends with our movie night, our annual movie night at Tahoe Park. And we're going to be showing Javier's favorite, which is the new Little Mermaid. And so if you want to come out and check out Little Mermaid, we're going to have free popcorn after the food trucks leave. We're going to support our local businesses first, and then for those who want to stick around for movie night, we'll have free popcorn. So that'll be this Friday at Tahoe Park. And then finally, I have an adjourn in memory, Madam Clerk, and I know if the mayor was here, he would agree. Tonight, with the indulgence of the council, I'd like to adjourn in memory of Juan Valle Orozco. For those of us who knew him here, Juanishi Orozco, a great Sacramentan, patriot, fighter for justice, an educator, one with a lot of heart and compassion. Juanishi, I got to know Juanishi when I first started at Sac State, and just a very kind and warm person. Born in 1945 here in Lincoln. His parents hail from Zacatecas and Jalisco, but he grew up actually in a ranch out not too far from here, which now is actually the city of Rancho Cordova. So the true rancho, he grew up in the true rancho out there. He went off to serve our country and joined and was drafted into the U.S. Army during Vietnam. He served in the 101st Airborne Division and was honorably discharged for his service to his country, and came back to Sacramento. Came back, went to American River College, proud alum of the community college program, and then went to Sac State. Stingers up for those. Great, go Hornets! And while he was at Sac State, he met his father-in-law. For those of us who know him, the great Jose Montoya, as well. Another veteran, another champion. And through that time, he and others in that art circle who had served the country, all veterans, formed the Royal Chicano Air Force. He emerged as an amazing artist in silkscreen printing and murals, and had a devotion for la causa, la lucha, fighting for working folks and for equity and justice. And he learned, and that's where he gained his moniker, Ishi. Eventually adding it to his name, Juan Ishi. And because he loved, his roots, the indigenous roots, and wanted to make sure that was part of it, and it stuck with him throughout his life. All of us knew him as Juan Ishi. For those of us, sometimes we walk around the city, but some of the murals that you see between downtown and going to Old Sac, that tunnel, that was some of the work of Juan Ishi. For those of you who have been at Southside Park, that mural at Southside Park, the mariposas, the big butterflies, that was the work of Juan Ishi. And it was involved with the work of the farm workers and bringing folks there and making art part of it. They were involved in political activity and creating lawn signs, but silkscreen lawn signs. I mean, I wish we had that level of art and character. I mean, it's insulting to look at lawn signs now. They actually had, so much, injustice, like because they sent a message with everything they did and he did and that he was part of. His work has been shown. This is a great Sacramento's work, not only in the Crocker Art Museum, but the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art at UCLA in Tucson, in Denver's Art Museum, Albuquerque's Art Museum, the National Museum of American Art in Washington, the Bronx, El Paso. It goes on. Even in the institutions have taken on his work, such as Harvard and Yale. And yes, of course, our public institutions like the CSU and the UC system. He was instrumental in creating Fiesta de Colores and Fiesta de Maíz, mostly in Southside Park, making sure that we didn't forget the purposes of what art and public spaces were about. A longtime advocate for the United Farm Workers. He loved Cesar Dolores. He loved the work of the unions, the solidarity that came in, and worked around the clock while listening corridos, jazz, and salsa. And so, I think for us tonight, we honor an educator, an artist, a muralist. Juan Ishi was also a beloved son, a brother, father, and grandfather. He joins his parents, Carmen and Jesus Orozco, his brother, Robert Correa, Frank Correa, Daniel Correa, and Jose Orozco. And Juan Ishi is survived by Gina Montoya, their sons, John, Domingo, Dan, and Joe, their parents, their grandchildren, Christina, Nicolas, Jonathan, Nolan, and Daisy. He leaves behind many compadres and comadres, grandchildren, and many, many, many friends and people he's inspired and mentored. Great loss to our city, and we thank him for his contributions and for his family for lending us to him. With that, members of the council, we adjourn tonight in honor of Juan Ishi Orozco. We are adjourned.